There we go.
Welcome to the 18th edition and the 5th episode of Season 3 of a Skyrim Addict Podcast Roundtable.
Welcome, everybody.
Ooh. This is Season 3, The Civil War. We are the show who compares and contrasts Skyrim experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Colin.
We are joined this week again by Colin and Victor, our two steadfast dwarven automaton gentlemen.
Do we really have to be lively?
No, you can be as dead as you want.
Okay, all right, good.
And so, gentlemen, things going well?
Yeah.
Colin just strolled in from work. You have a good day, Colin?
Yeah, I managed to get a cab, so I got home a little earlier and managed to get myself some food just before we started. So I'm feeling a little bit better.
We could have held off the start a little bit longer. You didn't have to pay for a cab. How much more expensive is a cab than your train ride usual?
Was it
significant? I would assume.
Yeah, it's probably 15 quid, I think.
That is nothing to shake a stick at.
So I wanted to get home anyway. The longer I stay at work, the more depressed I get.
Well, thanks for your sacrifice and dedication to the show.
Indeed.
Always appreciate you being here, sir. And Victor, how are you today, sir?
Good. Had a reasonably quiet day. Did some laundry, did some shopping, had a nap, played with the kitty. That's about it.
What does your playing with the kitty entail?
He likes to play.
One of those little fishing line type toys, or?
Oh no, it's much more much more involved. Pen? Well, he's a teenager, so there will be blood. He likes to play rough. He likes to play chase the kitty. Yeah, oh yeah. He likes to be chased around the house. So.
Good.
We do that. He likes to play hide and seek.
Good fun.
So yeah, he's a good cat.
I just read an interesting article about cats and boxes and how it's evolutionarily drummed into their DNA that all cats like boxes. Even if you put a refrigerator box out for lions, they'll still sit in it like a house cat will.
Oh yeah, well they like to get inside things. He likes to get under the covers. Bags. He loves to get inside bags and things and stuff. Yeah, anything you can crawl inside. Cabinets.
Yeah, Christmas time around our house we have 2 cats, and you can't leave your gift bags out because your presents will be scattered on the floor and have cat hair all over them.
Oh yeah.
The cats will dump out your stuff and crawl in ass first into the Christmas bags.
Yep.
I love that stuff. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and do some introductions for any new listeners out there, and we appreciate everyone tuning in. So, my name is Andrew, and I'm from just north of Indianapolis, Indiana. And my character's name is Geldir Borwin. And up to this point, she has been an archer. She is a female wood elf with an archery level of 100, alteration 100, and alchemy is either at 99 or 100. I forget. It's been a little bit since I actually got a chance to play. But Geldir is, like I said, a level 100 in archery, and that's why I said up to this point, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. So we'll just go ahead and pass it on to Colin. Colin, would you like to give us a little intro?
Yeah, hi, my name's Colin. I'm calling in from Essex in England. My character's name is Jonaria Arkvalen. She is a Dunmer, specializing in smithing, destruction magic, and sneak. She's 100 in all 3 of those, as well as illusion, and that's about it. She is currently just finished off the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild quests, which was quite a long haul, doing them both at the same time. But it was fun.
Yeah, when you say you completed the Thieves Guild quest, do you do all the Radiant City, like fishing and numbers jobs or whatever those are, where they send you off?
Yeah, I've done all those, so I've got all the merchants in the flagon now, and I'm got the amulet of articulation, and got the head of the thieves guild. So they give me a cut of all they make.
Did you bother with the Stones of Baron Zaya on this playthrough?
I've got 12 so far, but I don't like to. There's a mod you can get where it can put markers on where all they are, or you can actually look on the UASP and tells you where they are. But I don't like doing that, so that's why I only have 12. I might do it, but it depends on whether we carry on with this character into the second series or not.
Mm-hmm. Typically, where do you find those? They're just kind of like in all the Jarl's quarters, and sometimes like weird bosses' chambers. Like any faction you go to, I think there's one like over at the Dark Brotherhood, the original Sanctuary. Is there one in the Emperor's quarters on his ship when you go to kill him for the Dark Brotherhood too? I don't know. But anyway, there's like in Jarl's quarters. Sometimes you'll find them there. You don't really find them in dungeons so much, though, do you?
Oh yeah,
there is
several in dungeons.
Yeah, there's several in there. There's one in the guy who's diddling the dead girls. I think he has his run, and then you've got was it the one that you based your character on, Victor? That was her. She was his aunt or something like that.
Oh yeah. Is it Anselvund? I can't remember.
Anselvund,
Yeah, that was one of my early alts. Can't remember his name now. Willem Alskaven. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lua Alskaven. That's it. She's
Alskaven,
because her husband was killed by the Stormdogs or something like that. Right. She went nutside.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's one in there.
Yeah. So they're just kind of all over the place. I did them once, and I remember I got, I don't know, maybe 17 or 18 of them before I had to look up the locations of the last few, but that means you have to remember, did I already get the one that was here? And so you end up going back to places you've already been 100 times just to double check to be sure you got that one or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I've totally avoided picking those things up.
Plus, when the game first came out, they weren't nailed down. You know how you can't knock them over, you can't move them, you can only pick them up. When the game first came out, they weren't nailed down, so they could get knocked behind cabinets or
throw a dom into the corner.
Yeah, so we kind of messed up here. We better fix that.
Yeah, they call that Havoc, their physics engine. Yeah, they were Havoc enabled. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
So, thank you for joining us today, Colin. And Victor, would you like to tell us a little bit about your current character that you're playing right now?
Sure, I'm Victor. I'm calling in from Western Massachusetts. My character is Faldir Wintermane. He is specializing in pickpocket, block, and conjuration. And I forgot to check all my stats before I popped on today. I think he's only right now he's level 33 because I'm playing him in my usual sort of methodical or picky way. So I think conjuration is now at about 40-something. Pickpocket's pretty high, and I can explain part of that later. It has to do with one of the mods I'm using. And block is in the 50s or 60s, somewhere like that. He's supposed to be doing companions. He hasn't quite really started the companions yet. But he's working his way up to it. He did start the Thieves Guild because of the pickpocket requirement. So we've been doing a lot of fishing jobs, and that's why his pickpocket is up, among other things. And I guess that's about it.
Very nice. My Geldir Borwin character is about, I'd say probably level 54, 55, somewhere in there. I got all the way up to level 50, and just using the 3 main attributes we were assigned with archery, alchemy, and alteration. But I found that after you get those up, then you kind of stop leveling unless you switch to other fields and start using those exclusively. And I've also found that this is probably the wrong way to go about playing Skyrim. There's no real wrong way to play the game, but if you're going to do what I've been doing, it kind of makes it really hard. As you level up, I'm already up to past level 50, have the archery at 100, alchemy and alteration. So I'm like, okay, if I want to keep leveling up, keep earning those points of experience, then I'll switch over to. I decided to go with one-handed and a shield. So I was going to concentrate on one-handed and blocking. We're going to be and conjuration. And so when I switched over to those, I'm already a level above 50. That means the world around me, for the most part, has leveled up as well, meaning the enemies are harder. And so I switch over to a new skill, one-handed, which hasn't gotten any experience at all yet. And so therefore my one-handed sucks, and I'm going up against these leveled opponents. And so I'm glad I have a whole warring band with me going into these dungeons, just because if I was going up one-handed with the Draugr overlords and stuff that I'm saying, I really wouldn't be able to last long, or I don't know, just come up with or have to bump my difficulty level down because I'm up on master. And it's just really difficult with almost no experience with one-handed going up against level 50 Draugr and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have started to switch over to one-handed and blocking and conjuration to get some other stuff going up. And once I get those up higher, maybe I won't try to get those to 100 before I switch over to more, different skills, just because. Then those guys will just level up even more, and
I can see the gleam in your eye. You want to get to two-handed again, don't you?
I do. It's, but this archery actually has been pretty sweet. I do find myself when we're in a really hard pinch and a trap deep in a dungeon, and my save file only lets me go forward. If I go backwards, it's just gonna be bad, and I'm against the final boss in a dungeon or whatever, and we're just all getting our asses handed to me. I've got Verilus from the oh man, what is that Daedric quest where you have to you feed the guy? Yeah, you bring Verilus to the cave where all the people want to eat him. God.
Oh, that's the Namira quest.
A Taste of Death, is that what it's called, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got him with me, and I've got Stenvar still, who's a hired hand from, I believe I picked him up in Winterhold, if I'm not mistaken. And I've got Vigilance, the dog, and, Verilus takes one hit or two, and then he takes a knee. He's not too powerful, but he is good to have something pay attention to him. And, you pay attention to Verilus and the dog, and Stenvar and I will take care of the rest of the people. But it's really good to have those guys around because the bad guys can take care of them, and I'll step back as far as I can in the room and bust out my bound bow. It's what I find myself doing in sticky situations still, because it's at 100, so it's really kick-ass.
Yeah, I just got the bound bow few days ago, so I've been using that to level up my conjuration a little more, because I was using my Avenging Wraith spell quite a bit, and she levels with the player too, so I think of her as a she. I don't know if it is or not, but it's a wraith. Yeah. But the bound bow is great. Yeah, it's it's good. So
I'm a fan. Colin, how's your bound bow?
I haven't used it. I haven't got the spell yet. I've switched to one-handed. I'm currently level 62, I think.
Oh, nice.
I'm using one-handed, and I just thought I wanted to get back into melee because I was getting a little bit bored of the magic because it was a bit overpowered, as I was saying.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into a bit of melee, so I went with one-handed and light armor. And I put 5 points into the light armor tree and 7 points into the one-handed, and now she can't die unless she's going up against was it because I really thought that there was no challenge that she'd be able to come up against anymore. She was just going to be a broke character basically.
Mm-hmm.
But old immersive creatures came out of nowhere and slapped me right in the chops with some serious bad guys that just absolutely owned me.
Like what? Sorry,
you know, Bloodlit Throne, the Master Vampire and Bloodlit Throne.
Yeah.
He absolutely owned me, like one-shotted me. I'm on legendary, but she's got light armor with all the perks in it, and up to legendary. She's got an armor rating of, with a shield, almost 800, I think.
Oh wow!
She's got something that's equivalent to a dragon bone sword, with 5 points, and there's sort of like the bonus for decapitation and everything like that. Then I went up against. Was it the Briarheart at where's the one where you get the armor for the old the ancient Dark Brotherhood assassin?
That's Hag's End.
Yeah. And I went up against the Briarheart.
Deepwood Redoubt, I think is.
That's the one. Deepwood Redoubt.
Yeah.
And I went up against him, and he was the melee one, with the dual wield.
Oh yeah.
Just those flip spins.
I had to go back to Magic to fighting him with destruction magic. It took me I double hit him, dual cast weakness to fire at him, and then used a firestorm on him, and it took me to do firestorm 3 times to kill him. And
do you have a follower, Colin?
I did at that point. Who was I using?
Do you have Cicero yet?
I have Cicero. It was Cicero. Yes. Oh, by the way, I need a new spouse because Gorbash is dead.
Spouse?
Yeah, Gorbash was my spouse, but we didn't. We had him because I had to get Cicero, so I was going through the Dark Brotherhood. So I had Gorbash as my follower because he needed a follower and a spouse. But I didn't get married to him straight away. We were just like traveling around, going from place to place, and sort of I used him as a follower, but never done the conversation where we went to get married.
Oh, okay.
Then he died when I went up against a mechanical dwarven dragon.
What?
Was it?
Those exist? Is that a
Deadly Dragons? Yeah.
Yeah. Was it?
But it's actually like an automaton type dragon. That's
dragon.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was weird because I got a soul out of it as well, which was weird. So,
and the biggest grand soul gem you've ever seen.
Yeah. Was it? So was it a dwarven mechanical dragon? Was it a berserker giant, an elder berserker giant, and a mammoth? And he got stuck in the middle of that.
What, the mammoth didn't have any special tags or anything?
No, just a normal. The mammoth was the only one to survive. There was only me and the mammoth left, and we just sort of backed up, stared at each other, tipped our hats, and then walked in opposite directions. After I looted everything off of Gorbash's corpse, of course.
Just start whistling and stepping backwards. Hopefully you don't follow you. Oh, man. I picked a name for you if you really want a new spouse here, Colin.
Go for it.
Is it Terry or Tari? Taarie? Are you familiar with this person?
Tari. Nope, not that I know of.
Tari is an Altmer tailor living in solitude. She runs a tailor shop called
Radiant Raiment.
Her. God, I didn't know she was.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know. There's no way you can sweet talk that bitch, right? Come on.
Which one is it? She's the one that gives you the clothes, or she's the one behind the counter?
She's the one that wanders around the city.
It says, of the two sisters, Terry is the friendlier, though still critical of your attire. Both sisters share the same merchant inventory and gold, so there is no need to deal with Endari's rough personality in order to buy and sell Radiant Raiment, unless Tari has stepped out. So, Tari, at least you got the nicer of the two.
I put nothing into speech though. If I put get the merchant perk or the investment perk, the investor perk, then they become really nice to you. But I've got no perks to put into speech. I'll have to suffer it.
Yes.
Well, do you accept her as your spouse?
Yeah, we'll go for it. No idea how it's going to work into the story, but all right.
Yeah, I've got a weird part of the story when we get to our quest. Do you have any guess as to what my problem with fitting it into the storyline would be with the quest we're assigned today?
Yeah, but did you? Yeah, I'd done that in my video, but luckily I had Cicero and I just finished the Dark Brotherhood, so I could marry it up and sort of the conclusion was quite good.
Okay, well we'll get into that in a little bit here then. So yeah, let's see. You guys have anything else before we launch into our assigned quests?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and get to it. This week we'll be discussing quests 22 through 27, so we had a full rack of quests this week. We'll be starting with Rescue from Fort Kostov for the Imperials, or a Battle for Fort Snowhawk for the Stormcloaks. We'll be discussing 23, The Blessings of Nature, 24, In My Time of Need, and these are the Whiterun city quests. 25 is Missing in Action. And then we get out of Whiterun a little bit. Oh no, we have one more. We have no, this is out of Whiterun. We do Kind's Trials, and then we do Lost to the Ages. So those will be the quests we'll discuss today. We'll go ahead and start with number 22, Rescue from Fort Kostov for the Imperial side. And we didn't identify what we each are. I am an Imperial. Colin, you are also an Imperial, if I remember correctly. And
yes, sir.
Victor is
a true son of Skyrim.
The evil Stormcloak side. True sons of
Also the douchebag.
Nice. So we'll go ahead and start with Colin. And can you explain the Rescue from Fort Kostov?
Yeah, the Rescue of Fort Kostov is that you go to Ritka and she says that there's some troops, some Imperial troops being held at Fort Kostov, but she's going to use that to her advantage and use you, seeing as you're so skilled, to break into Fort Kostov and sort of like destroy basically take over the fort from the inside out. So you travel to Fort Kostov, which is just north of Windhelm. Near sort of like Forgotten Cave or something like that. So when you get there, Hadvar is waiting for you, and he has the idea that there's a little trapdoor just outside covered in snow. And once you get in there, if you sneak up and get inside, you can release the prisoners and then attack all the people inside the fort coming out, and then he'll meet you outside. And once the fighting starts, then you take over the fort. The only problem is that mine completely bugged and we came outside and none of the Stormcloaks fought. They just stood there looking at us.
Oh no.
So I murdered them all while they were all standing there going, "Hey, how are you?"
Hi, very well. Great. Oh!
Then I reloaded and done it again, and then the same thing happened again.
Really?
Oh no.
Yeah,
But it still let you kill them and pass the...
Yeah, they went going...
Complete the quest without using the console commands and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
completed the quest. They just didn't fight. All the Imperials came out, all the Stormcloaks came out. They all stood there looking at each other and didn't start fighting. I thought it was like a no man's incident. I thought they were going to bust out a football and start playing.
Maybe they thought you would show mercy and put them in some shackles and take them prisoner and let them live, but nope. Colin,
no, just
ruthless.
Yeah, murdered them all.
Attaboy. Yep. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's Fort Kostov's just directly northwest of Windhelm there. If you go to the Night Gate Inn and just sort of head up the path northeast from the Night Gate Inn, just go up the path, you'll run directly into the fort there. And yeah, just sneak in, help the prisoners escape, and then they load up with armor and weapons, and then they help you bust the fort down from the inside out. Did you get a special reward after this quest? Did you?
Yeah, I got some special armor and then got told you are now promoted to the rank of legate. So
Yes.
you and Rika are on the same level from now on.
Yeah. She can't boss you around anymore.
Yeah, that's it. Sassy bitch.
Was your armor worthwhile that Tullius gave you?
My one was witch plate armor, so at the level I was, it wasn't. No, so it was. But because my smithing is one of my things, I invested a perk in all of them, so I've got everything. So I've got all up the light side and up the heavy side, so I can make any armor that can be made in the game.
So do you have a mod that will get you stuff that's cooler or higher powered or more interesting than like Dragon Plate and Dragon Scale?
Yeah, the ones I've got was it Ebon Steel, which is ebony with steel and dragon bones. It's really good. Was it the helmet she wears is like the Droga Deathlord helmet? You know, the one with the two horns coming out the top.
Oh yeah.
But it's classed as light armor, and it's like the armor she's wearing is like dragon. It's made of dragon bones, but it's also light armor. It looks slightly different to the dragon scale, so it's equivalent to dragon scale, but looks slightly different. I like it. It's a little bit cooler than the normal one.
Yeah. Do you have just a favorite overall armor in the game, just looks wise, maybe not functionality wise, but just from aesthetics?
I still like the original Ebony.
Ebony.
I don't know. Yeah, the original from the Xbox. I still like that. If you go into the modded, sort of like one that I've got where I can make them all. There's got this Ebony that's with silver trim, and you got Ebony with gold trim.
Oh, nice.
I still prefer the original Ebony. You got the Ebony mail as well, which is quite good. It's got the shoulder pieces are slightly different, and you got the neck is covered, I think. But yeah, no, I quite like it.
Yeah, I always thought the one you get from the Boethia quest had a really cool shoulder line to it.
Yeah, that's
the Ebony mail.
Yeah.
Nice looking set of armor. Yeah. All right, well, that's a good wrap-up of Fort Kostov. It's there. We're marching slowly but surely. We will end up at Windhelm precisely next episode. So keep your watch out. That was our last Imperial Civil War quest for the evening, so we'll get into the last Stormcloak
Yes, now that we've heard from the shills of the Thalmor,
Ooh! My wife might have something to say about that,
sir. Yes, Fort Snowhawk is on the road between Morthal and Dragonbridge, basically. I guess it's right near Miko's shack. So it's just a simple, storm the fort, kill the Imperials, pretty much. You go to Galmar, who I have decided now, Galmar sounds like Grover from Sesame Street. He's got the same
raspy sort of
raspy, and the accent is about the same. It's just so every time I listen to him, he makes me laugh. So we just, and I had, who did I have with me for this one? We took Belrand. I know you love Belrand, Colin. I had Iona, and I had Miko with me, but he was driving me crazy, so I sent him back to his little shack for a while. And I also had one of the interesting NPCs whose name is Amelie. I got her just because I love the name and I love the movie. And so, although they spell it different, 2 E's instead of an I-E. But then she kind of bugged out. I've been having an issue with, I think interesting NPCs and amazing follower tweaks don't like each other too much, because in 2 separate profiles, 2 separate games that I've been playing another playthrough, the same thing happened where I would tell, because amazing follower tweaks allows you to dismiss a follower but to have them stay where you dismiss them. So if you're in your house or something like that, they won't go back to their original location, they'll stay there. And both times I've tried this, and once it's done, you can't get them back. they just hang out where you left them, and they won't. There's no more.
They won't follow you again.
Well, yeah, there's no more dialogue option to have them follow you, so it just disappears. So I lost Emily. She's now at Honeyside, and just hanging out in the basement at Honeyside. So that's fine.
Well, at least she's there.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, I'm afraid she's part of. See, Interesting NPCs is a huge quest mod. It's just tons and tons of little tiny side quests and a few pretty big quests, and I think she's part of one of the bigger quests. So I have the feeling I'm not going to be able to do that now. Anyway, so we just all went in and killed all the filthy Imperials, and that was it. There's nothing really good in Fort Snowhawk. It's the same as most of these forts. They don't really contain any good loot to speak of. And I forgot to go back to Galmar afterwards, so I don't even know, because they start calling you different names instead of Legate and going up the chain of command in the Imperial Army. They give you new names. I don't know what I'm called, Iron Butt now or something. I don't know. But traitor, yeah, Mr. Traitor to you. So, but I don't know. So anyway, I forgot to go back to see Galmar, but that's my report on Fort Snowhawk.
Very nice. Yeah, those fort quests are generally just kind of, run in, kill everyone, run out. Congratulations! Let's move on to the next one.
I was on my way to another one of the quests that we're doing tonight, so I just ran out and headed for that. So
nice. On general Skyrim discussion pages and stuff I've run across on the internet, a lot of people have said that the Civil War quest is, one of their favorites. It's all fleshed out really nicely and everything. And I just think that a lot of these quests are just kind of like wash, rinse, repeat type quests. You know what I mean? I think the Dragon quest line was much more fleshed out with storylines and characters and involvement and crisscrossing trails of this and that. But do you guys? Are you liking the? I mean, I know you've played through it before many times, but the Civil War quest. Do you think it holds up with as good as the other, like the Dragonborn or just the normal Dragon main quest line?
I like it. I don't know. I wouldn't say I like it better, but I think I probably play it more often. I think in all my playthroughs and hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing Skyrim, I've really only
gone thousands at this point.
It's over 1,000 now. Yes, I've only played the main quest line through twice. Once for the Roundtable and once my original playthrough on the 360, and that's it. So I don't know. I like doing the Civil War. It feels more part of the world.
I come across those sentiments so often online, and I don't know if I just think dragons are cooler or.
Yeah, I don't think it's better. I just think it's. I like playing it more. Like I said, I feel more part of the world when I'm playing the Civil War quest. It's it is a fantasy world regardless, but it just feels more. I'm trying not to use the word immersive.
What about you, Colin? What do you think?
Well, playing this character, going with the magic and things like that, and then starting off with the Civil War, I found out that I like being the hero, and I don't like being. Although there's many different ways of playing the game, and I've played it many different ways with many different characters, I don't like being sneaky and using archery or using illusion magic or any type of magic. When it comes down to like having loads of fun, I like running through the front gate, sword in one hand, shield in the other, or a warhammer, completely decked out in real tough armor, so I can take a hit from like 30 or 40 different enemies while I'm slashing them down. That's what I like. That's where I have the most fun, where I'm dying like 30 times because I'm going in there, I haven't got enough potions on me, and there's enemies coming all over the place, hitting me with some with fire, some with arrows, some with swords, and I'm just there with a sword and a shield, or with a big two-handed warhammer, and that's where I have the most fun. And that's mainly what the Civil War is about: running into forts with a big-ass weapon, scaring the living crap out of the enemy, and hacking loads of soldiers to pieces. Now that's where I had some of my most fun. When I was going up and doing the forts with magic, I wasn't having that much fun, especially when I was kept on taken out by filthy archers. But when I went in the last fort, I went in there and I was still using the destruction magic. I had the sword in the right hand and a spell in the left, and I had all my hotkeys just with spells just for the left hand. So I'd permanently have these new alteration spells which works as a power. So you hit the shout button and it imbues the sword with different types of power. So you know how you have the shout where it imbues the elemental fury, so the sword swings faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. That's how it works. But it will imbue it with a fire spell. Or with stamina drain, absorb health, absorb magicka, soul trap. It's got. You can choose all these different ones. I've got all of them now, and you can choose all the different ones, and you imbue the sword with that special power of what you wanted to do.
So it's like you're enchanting the sword almost for
every single time. If you press more than once, it comes up and it says your sword is already enchanted. You can't enchant it again. So, but all you have to do is you have to put it back in its sheath. Pull it back out again, and then you can pick another one and enchant it with something else.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, or Percus Maximus has several perks that do similar things with bows. You can use the powers button to give the bow either shock or flame or frost when you shoot the arrows. It'll and it does. I think it has similar perks for one-handed and two-handed as well. But I haven't taken any of those yet.
Yeah, this one was in the spell section, and it grows in effect the higher my alteration magic gets, and my destruction was already 100 when I was using it, and when I was enchanting it, it was putting 30 points of fire damage on.
Wow.
And that's when I was very low leveled at alteration. I'm still only like 30 or 40, and it's doing 30 points of fire damage. So I have no idea what that's going to increase to once I get into the 80s, 90s, and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Do you ever visit your last season's characters?
No, I've not putting hundreds of hours in on New Vegas recently. I'm really loving the character I'm playing at the moment. So
nice.
Yeah, I went back and just ran around with Slythe the other day, just for fun. I didn't do anything; just sort of went back into the game and ran around with him. But I've been playing my Red Guard, Imitot.
Ooh, good name.
What's Imitot Al Noob? I'm a total noob.
I'm a total noob.
But it's Al apostrophe Noob. Is his last name. And he pronounces his first name Imitot, not Imitot. So, but he's good actually, and I'm playing him completely vanilla in terms of perks and stuff like that. And honestly, it's funny. I haven't played that in quite some time because I'm mostly using combat mods, and I have to say it's a lot easier. I'm playing on Master with him, and it's not taking much. I guess I'm so used to playing with these sort of rugged combat mods that just kill you instantly.
Yeah.
So, none of that stagger.
Yeah, no stagger, and yeah, I mean, well, we can get into it when we do the missing in action, but I was just getting murdered on that one. So anyway.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into the blessings of nature. We'll get into our Whiterun city quests now. So the next, I think 3 maybe, take place. Yeah, the next 3 quests take place, at least around Whiterun in some fashion or another. So we'll go ahead and start with the blessings of nature. So in this quest, you'll notice that the Gildergreen, which is the tree sort of in the courtyard just down from Dragon's Reach, isn't looking quite as spry as it used to at one point. So if you, I forget, there's 2 guys in town who will also make comments about the tree. I don't remember either of their names. But if you visit Danica Purespring, who's in the Temple of Kennerith, there in Whiterun. It's in the same courtyard as the tree is there. She will comment on how the Gilda Green is not looking nearly as good as it once was because of a lightning strike, and she's too busy to go out and do anything about it because if you ever stepped into her temple, there's lots of soldiers coughing and moaning, and they're hurt from the Civil War. So she is busy trying to help people from the Civil War. And so she'll ask for your help in to restoring the Gilda Green to its once and natural beauty. So she will say that you need to get a special knife called the Nettlebane, which will help cut into the tree. Which one is that? What is that? The bigger,
Elder
better
Gleam?
tree? The Elder Green. There you go. The Elder Gleam. Yeah. The Elder Gleam is a special tree, and you need to get some sap from the Elder Gleam in order to restore the. Am I saying that right? Is it Gilder Green or Gilder Gleam?
No, it's green.
Gilder Gleam. Gilder Green and
As in the
Elder
color, yeah.
and Elder Gleam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you want to get some sap from the Elder Gleam in order to restore the Gilder Green into its, back in its heyday. So you want to go get the Nettlebane, which is being kept by some hag ravens at Orphan Rock. And Orphan Rock is back close to Helgen. I believe it's sort of northeast of Helgen. It might be up in the mountains a little bit, winding up behind. If you go through Helgen and out the back gate and go up into the mountains there a little bit, you'll find Orphan Rock. Once you get Nettlebane, you will turn to Whiterun, and Danica will send you then to the Eldergleam Sanctuary. But there's also someone else there, a traveler named Maurice Gendrel. And Maurice will accuse you of disrespecting the true miracle of Kennerith once you get over to the Elder Gleam. He doesn't want you to hack up the Elder Gleam to take the sap from it. And I had always played it one way, and doing my research on these notes, I found out that there are two different ways that you can play this quest. You can play it as a prayer to Kennerith, as once you get to the Elder Gleam to harvest the sap, you can allow the Maurice Gendrel character to pray to Kennerith for a sapling, and then once you bring the sapling back to Danica at the Kennerith Temple in Whiterun, she will then offer some master level restoration training. Now, I'd never played it that way before, where you bring Maurice with you, and he prays for the sapling, and you bring the sapling back. How I always played it was called the Wrath of Kennerith, where you use Nettlebane, and you go to the Elder Gleam, and you hack away at the tree roots to get up to the Elder Gleam, and then you use it to harvest some sap from the tree, doing harm to it, and Maurice will become hostile. And you have to kill him and the Spriggans, and there's a nasty boss Spriggan in there as well. And then you pretty much return to Danica for the same reward. She then makes herself available for master level restoration, I believe. How do you guys play this quest generally, and how did you play it this time? Did you know that there were two ways to do it? Because I did not.
I did know that there was a second way. I've never done it. I think Maurice is a dweeb, so I usually just kill him. And out of hand, or I just don't even take him with me. I don't. You can just not even initiate the conversation with him, I guess. So,
yeah, I don't think I've ever actually taken him there with me.
Yeah, I've taken him with me twice and killed him both times.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's also a nice chest up there near the Elder Gleam.
What do you find in that chest generally? Some good leveled gear, or is there something that's always there? A nice.
This time I got a pretty awesome shield, and I don't know if it's part of it must be part of a mod. It's part of a mod.
The Aegis of the Elder Gleam, isn't it?
Well,
that's immersive armors, I think.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can have it set so it'll only drop the once, as in one there, or you can have it set so you can craft it as well.
Oh, really? I've never gone into the MCM on immersive armors. I glanced at it, but I've never set anything on or off in it. But anyway, it's the first time I've seen that shield, and it's got an armor rating of like 224. It's a pretty powerful shield.
Yeah, it's a powerful one.
Yeah, I like it. So I've been using that since I got it. I don't remember what else was in that chest, but that's what I. So, how about you, Colin?
I brought Maurice with me, but I've been using the teleportation spell, so I was managed to get to the. So I just came out of. Actually, I didn't even step out of the Temple of Kinnereth. I just teleported from inside the temple straight through the Atronach stone, and then walked around the corner and went inside. Because this was getting towards the end of doing the quest, and that was earlier on this week. So I popped in. He did go like, "What the hell are you doing?" But he didn't actually attack me. And then all the Spriggans came out of nowhere, and then he ran for his he ran for his life. And they killed him.
Did they? Oh, okay.
I didn't actually identify where the Elder Gleam Sanctuary was. Where'd you say it was, Colin?
It's out in the marshes.
It's right near Darkwater Crossing.
Yeah, where also you've got Iverstead to the south, Windhelm to the north, just out near
along the river there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, near Bonestrewn Crest and all that stuff.
So yeah, you got that dragon that it's always screaming its head off, which we just ignored. Yeah, but yeah, he didn't attack me, so the Spriggans killed him. I did leave Cicero down near the two people down at the bottom. I told him to wait there, and we managed to save Sond, but not. No, we managed to save Hearn, but not Sond. Is it Hearn and Sond? Are the two people down there?
I have no idea.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
Oh, the woman who tells you not to do it, basically. But yeah, we used Nettlebane and got the sap. But they every time I've played it, they die every single time. So
you managed to save one of them this time.
Yeah, I managed to save one by leaving Cicero, so he attacked the Spriggans.
Because the Spriggans finished them off.
Yeah, pretty quickly as well. So because they've got no armor on, they've only got like 180 health or something like that, so they're pretty weak. And I was hoping Cicero would have saved him, but by the time I got down there, the woman was already dead. But the guy he took a knee when I got involved in the fight and managed to take them out. But luckily, what's his name? But no, yeah, he sounds like Bassianus, doesn't he? The guy from the Elder Gleam. What's his name? Maurice.
Enough attention. Oh, him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like Bassianus. So.
Oh, yeah, he's the same voice actor. Yeah, it's the same. I forget what they call it. He's the same one who does Sid Gear too, I think. It's sort of the complaining, nasty kind of voice. Yeah.
Hey, Colin, you said that the people only had like 180 hit points of health. If you like hover above them with your cursor or something, does that tell you how many hit points a character has in the game? How do you know that sort of info?
No, I'm saying that that's like an estimation because.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like on the PC version if you could actually.
I think you can. I can hover over, go into the console, and lay it on a character and go get damage resist, and that will give me what their armor is, and then it says you can do get AV health, and that'll give you what health they have, what stamina they have, what magic they have, and things like that. So. You can find out all the information that you want, but I was just like estimating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always find it. I don't know. I think that might be useful information, but that's all part of why Skyrim is, in my opinion, maybe cooler than some usual role-playing games because a number doesn't pop up above their head as soon as you hit someone that says like -24 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have noticed that since the update to ESO, sorry to change the subject, but the update to ESO, all the numbers have changed. They've all gone, it used to be sort of 5, 6, 7. Now it's all gone into 100,000 health, 1,000 magicka, and things like that. All the numbers have kind of changed, and sort of I now have 10,000 hit points or something like that of health. I think it's all to do with sort of how much damage you're going to do to a really large enemy boss or something. it was really weird. And you can have it all the settings, so it has like everything above the enemy's head. You got like the health and their magic, and so if you can calculate it mathematically how many points of how many hits you can give it or something like that. So
I noticed that some of that had changed when I went back into ESO, but I haven't actually. I played for a while, but I haven't actually fought anything yet. So
you want to be careful when you go around messing with the decimal place and all those numbers. That when you get into all that inflation is how you run a country into bankruptcy pretty quick.
Yeah, right.
Watch out that sliding that decimal place around. Oh, so was there anything else to the blessings of nature that I missed out on? Was there any other rewards or treasure or any cool stuff Danica gave you? Were there any cool lines she says or anything? Do you guys like Danica or Danica? I didn't even know how to pronounce her name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most people's playthrough that they didn't know about the Maurice praying to the King Arthur bloody thing, because he probably died like halfway to get into the bloody Elder Gleam Sanctuary.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Every time I've done it before, it's sort of like, you get to the bandits at that I've gone the place of it. Well, the one with the two towers.
Oh, Valtheim Towers, yeah.
That's it. You get there, and then he just goes in there, starts punching away, and the bandit chief chops his head off or something.
He doesn't have a weapon equipped or anything. Just starts punching people.
Yeah, if one is lying on the floor, if he thinks of it, he'll run and pick it up. But yeah, you can't go into his inventory. You can't give him armor. You can't do anything. So
it's not one of those scenarios where he meets you there. He actually follows you all the way there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is completely that way. He's completely worse. I mean, you'd think that the programmers would have done something more like that Tanvar character in the old guy who wants to do research in a cave and you protect him through the quest.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought that Maurice would have been more like that, but no, it gave him basically the same AI, so he'll just run in and die.
And he's not essential, so he'll get killed.
Right, he
won't take a knee. Yeah.
He's not essential, yeah. But
well, good riddance to you, Maurice.
Yeah, really.
Well, I think that'll wrap up Blessings of Nature. So we'll move on to In My Time of Need, our second of the Whiterun quests. Colin, would you like to get into In My Time of Need? Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, it was In My Time of Need. The second or third time you're passing through the gates at Whiterun, usually after you've dealt with the dragon at the Western Watchtower, you'll come across two red guards arguing with one of the town guards about being in the city, and sort of letting out they were probably harassing people looking for a certain red guard woman. So all of them got kicked out. And he says, after what you did, you're lucky that I haven't thrown you in prison. So get the hell out of here. So they tell you that they're there looking for a red guard woman, and if you're interested in earning some coin, if you find out anything about her, to let them know they will be in Rorikstead, because they're not allowed in Whiterun.
Rorikstead's slightly less racist than Whiterun.
But I don't think it's racism. I think they were walking around harassing people. Yeah. I mean, you don't actually see it, but the guard does actually say to him, after what you just pulled, you're lucky I don't throw you in prison. So they were probably walking around going, hey, have you seen this red guard woman? And stuff like that. Probably throwing the white around. Because, they do look like a bunch of arrogant douchebags. So
I can just see them sticking their fat fingers into Olva's face. Like, you little old woman, you tell us where...
Yeah, so it's the way he puts it at the guard when he's at the gate. After what you just pulled, and he says that line, I was thinking, yeah, these guys were causing trouble. So that's why they got kicked out. Not because they're... I mean, it's not like they're a Khajiit, something scummy like that.
So does this initial reaction of the Whiterun Guard, how he reacts to these Alakir Red Guard warrior guys, does that influence you, how you play the quest later on?
Not really. It depends on how much money I need.
All right. Well, go ahead. Continue.
So as you're playing through, if you go into the Bannered Mare, and you take a seat. Holder will send over this youngish-looking kind of Red Guard woman to come and serve you. Name is Sadia, I think. Yeah, Sadia. And you notice that she is a Red Guard, and you let her be known that there's Alakia warriors in the area looking for a Red Guard woman, and she's like, oh my God, they found me. Look, can you help me out? Can you come and meet me upstairs? And it kind of looks like you're on a promise, so you go upstairs and have a conversation, and then she threatens you, and then tries to bribe you and seduce you, kind of. I think, or maybe that's just me. But she gives you the story that she's not who she appears to be. She spoke out against the Thalmor in her hometown, and now they send mercenaries called the Alakia to come and get her and kill her and take her back, either kill her or give her back to the Thalmor, where they're going to be, she's imprisoned or murdered or whatever. And she asks you if you can go there and kill their leader. Apparently one of them got caught trying to sneak into the city, and he's in the prison. If you go talk to him, he'll be able to tell you the location of the leader, so you can go and kill him and end it. So you get the option of, you can either go and do that, or you can head off straight to Rorikstead and tell the guys in Rorikstead that she's there.
And which choice did you make, sir?
From there, I spoke to the guard. I went to the prisoner to find out where Kamatu is. If you pay off the Alakia warrior's fine of £100, he will tell you where Kamatu is, and he's in a cave somewhere.
Swindler's Den.
Swindler's Den. That's it.
Yep.
He's in Swindler's Den. And it just so happens is when you pay off the guard, and he goes, you finish the conversation, and he goes, well, if you go there, you know you're going to die. Blah, blah, blah. Sort of like showy. And then as you're walking out, the guard's like, and he goes, oh, my fine's been paid, let me go. Oh, look at that, I seem to have lost my key. I'll be back, sometime later on, which I always find quite funny. So then from there you can head off into the cave, clear some bandits out, and you have the Alakira waiting for you behind a waterfall at the back of the cave. But then they stop you there. The guy Kamatu says, look, warrior, you've proven yourself that you're a good fighter, but if you come in here, you're going to die. Talk to us, and sort of we'll tell you what's really going on. And then he offers to let you go back and tell her that everything's okay, that they're taken care of, and he'll pay you to get her out of the city so they can arrest her and take her back to Hammerfell. Or you can go in there and fight and kill them all.
What was your choice?
What do you think my choice was?
How much gold did you need?
I went in there and I killed them all.
Yeah, I figure if you take it that far to go hunt them down, it'd just be strange to just stop and be like, oh, okay, yeah, now I'll go and turn her in now that I've come all this way to kill you guys. But when I was putting my notes together, I found out all sorts of... I didn't write it all down, but there was all sorts of crazy political stuff going on in the background of this story that I don't think actually came up that much in the conversation that you have in between. But, all the Mary Dominion stuff, the Thalmor and Hammerfell, and why she's escaping and all that. There's some pretty interesting background history there if anyone wants to look that up.
Yeah, I've read some of that. I can't remember a lot of it either, but I mean, in some ways, I think her story doesn't really square with what's really going on in Hammerfell, and so there's a lot of speculation about whether she's telling the truth or not.
Yeah, after I read the history, I was like, man, I should have turned her in.
Yeah.
Especially that I'm fighting for the Empire.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, when I got back and she only gave me 500 gold, I killed her.
Of course. That's funny.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is actually... Go ahead. No. I was going to say this is actually the first time I've ever not turned her in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You always side with the Alakir?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I've ever turned her in. I think that I was about to at one point, and then decided against it right as the Alakir were about to but right before they paralyzed her, and I attacked them. But I don't even remember what happened. I don't think I've ever actually taken it the full way where I turned her over to them.
Well, I had a devil of a time in Swindler's Den because for just AI baloney, there's that, as you pass through there's an area, you come into the first area, then you go through a tunnel into another area where there's a little sort of a ledge, and you go down, and then there's another narrow passageway up into that first room where there's a table and stuff, and that passageway, I was getting bottlenecked in there, and there was a mage on the ledge above where the table is, firing constant frost, spells, and my two companions were completely bugged out in AI-wise, where they were running around in the last room, with all their sword saber rattling and all the stupid lines they have and stuff, and leaving me alone. It took me quite a while to work my way through there. So by the time I got to Kamado, I was pissed off. So I killed them all, and by that time my companions had caught up with me, so they just so we just wasted the poor Alakir.
Do any of your guys' mods add any stuff to the Alakir, like normal getup? Do they still just have their normal hood and a scimitar?
No, same getup. Yeah.
Same getup.
At least for the ones I use. By the way, in the prison in Dragon's Reach, this time I took pity on the poor guy and I pickpocketed the key from the guard and let him out of his cell.
That's nice.
Because I'm really high in pickpocket, so I was able to just I just sort of sidled over to her, grabbed the key, and let him out.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Andrew, was there somebody else in the prison when you went in to do this?
Not that I know of. Who should have been there?
I don't know, but in my playthrough, Heimsker was in there.
Remind us who Heimsker is. Yeah,
of course.
Heimsker is the nut job that stands out at the front of the Shrine of Talos in Whiterun,
spouting off all his BS about
Talos and things like that. But I think
why was he there?
I don't know whether was it in your game? Was he in there? Because he was screaming his head off in there. You couldn't not hear him if you were in there talking to that Alakir, not unless you had the sound turned down.
No, as far as I know, he's still out in the.
Well, he's supposed to be in there because once the Stormcloaks fail to take Whiterun, right? And the Imperials
Talos worshippers then jailed. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. So he's spouting off in the prison for you?
Yeah, he was. I was standing outside looking at him in the cell going, because he's all in those crappy prisoner, excuse me.
And the rags.
Rags, that's it. And, but as I was, I don't know how he done it, but as I was talking to the Alakir prisoner, Cicero magically beamed through the bars and sat down on the stool behind the Alakir prisoner. Sitting there, sort of eating a sandwich.
He's a very creepy fellow.
Yeah, those Dark Brotherhood fellows really know how to get around a jail.
That was, and he has some fantastic lines. And, the best one is still you're just standing there around talking to an NPC, buying some cabbages or something, and he goes, "Let's kill someone." And it still gets me nearly every time.
Yeah.
So, because he just says it at the most inappropriate times of where you're surrounded by like Rika or someone like that.
He was my most favorite follower and long-term follower in my first playthrough of the game.
I've never had him in tow. I've heard he's just a riot to have along.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. And
powerful as hell, as Colin showed his stats there on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
It's damn. I mean, he had 97 light armor. I've got was it the mods for our armors? They slightly changed. We got Vanguard armor, which is a slight twist on the Nightingale armor. Adds a few things to it. But when it got boiled down to it, I still liked the original Nightingale armor. So I had like the Crimson Vanguard, and you had the Dusk Vanguard, not Vanguard. Is it not Vanguard or Vagabond? Something like that. Something in with a V, and I think it's Vagabond.
No, I think I know it's because that's one of my favorite armors too. It's a heavy armor.
No, the Vanguard is the heavy one because Cicero is good in light armor.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like the Nightingale armor, but it's got like a bear cloak arms coming over the top of it, and it's got crimson gauntlets, and it's really nice. But I put him in the plain old Nightingale armor, and I preferred that on it. Just that little short cape, and I found this ring on an enemy. I think it was Knievel. You know the guy with the ice shouts. I think I found him. It was called Icebrand, and it increases your speed by 12% or something like that, and gives you frost resistance. But it also has this cool effect of where you have this ice, like a frost aura, like there's steam coming off you as you're walking around. It looks very cool.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
Does it give any frost damage to when people get too close or anything?
No, it's just there just to look good, and it does look good. So I gave it to Cicero.
Nice. Bet you he looks intimidating with steam coming off of him. Yeah. Very nice. Well, that is the first half of our quest. Did anybody have anything they wanted to get into more with In My Time of Need? Victor, did you have any other things you'd like to get into with the Alakir?
Not really. No. I mean, it's a fun fight in there. They're pretty good. We had a lot of when you finally get down to fighting them, it's a pretty good fight. The bandits were just tough. I think that's partly because of the combat mods I have going in there, but and I was still like level 25 when I went in there, so still kind of
and there's a nice little boss chest up the ramp there. Make sure you go up to the level if you.
Yeah, I don't remember what I got out of it though.
I'm not sure if I got it there or not, but I did just run into my first piece of I think it's called Dragon Plate helmet or Dragon Scale helmet. I don't remember which. I think Plate. But I found my first dragon stuff. I'm not sure if it was in that boss chest or not. I mean, it's obviously something that wouldn't be there all the time, but I've been finding lots of ebony stuff for a while, so now I'm up to the final level of finding random stuff, those chests, which is fun. I like because last time I discussed how I almost never put perks into the smithing other than the what's the magic one right in the middle, whatever that one's called. The arcane. I always take that one, but I almost don't ever put any perks into smithing. I think I'm going to go back and put some perks into smithing, at least up one side to get myself to the dragon armor, because I think I might like to play around with that. I haven't done any smithing stuff in a good long while, but that might be fun to play with a little bit. But yeah, so make sure you hit that boss chest up the ramp there, everyone, and then just go out the back tunnel and revisit with good old Sadia or Sadia, however you pronounce her name, and tell her it's been taken care of. Or turn her in. I don't care. Do what you want.
Yep.
All right. So we've gotten through our first half of the quests for this episode, so we will go ahead and leave it there for this week. And we will hit you back next week with the second half of this episode, where we'll be doing the quest Missing in Action, Kyne's Trials, and Lost to the Ages.
All right.
See you next time.
Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I'm going to take a quick break real quick.
Yeah, me too. I'll be back.
All right. Be right back.
All right, Arnold. Hey, Victor.
Hello.
How you doing, mate?
I'm all right.
I was just checking out. Gophers just put up a post about this paying for mods. Apparently, all the modders who put out paid for mods have been getting abuse, severe abuse.
Oh yeah, I have I have a bunch of tabs open in another browser window. I've got all kinds of articles I was reading and shit like that. There's a one of them. Yes, there's been a huge backlash. And Chesko, who is the guy who wrote Frostfall and a bunch of other really cool mods, really great mods.
I was reading his letter, but got bored halfway through. And
Yeah, well, I felt bad for him because he obviously, it was pretty obvious that they went to several modders several weeks ago and said, hey, this is what we're doing. You can't say anything about it, but we'd love to have your mods as part of this, and it sounded like a great deal, but it sounds like Valve has just been real assholes about it, and when his the use of other people's assets is pretty common. I mean, after all, most of these modders are using SKSE already.
yeah.
They're using the MCM stuff in Sky UI. They're using all kinds of other things, So I guess the mod he put up was the Fishing in Skyrim mod, which is something that he put together with another guy as their first paid mod. Chesko is a pretty savvy modder. I mean, Frostfall is a huge mod.
Yeah.
Anyway, from the gist of the letter, I mean, it sounds like he checked with their lawyers, and the lawyers said, well, or not their lawyers, but somebody there anyway. Yeah, go ahead, do it, and then. The huge backlash happened because he used the Forest idols for the mod, and so anyway, I felt bad for him, and he basically said, "Screw this, fuck it. I'm pulling my stuff off of Steam, and I might even pull it off of Nexus, but I'm not sure about that yet." And everybody's saying, "No, don't do that. Just calm down. Let it happen." But I noticed that the Steam, there are fewer mods on the Steam, the paid mods section than there were just yesterday. So, and the other guy who's gotten a huge amount of shit for this is the Isaku guy that did Wet and Cold and I Need. He's had some major, I mean, typical internet bullshit where he's being, life is being threatened and all that crap. Just stupid.
Yeah. So it's more than likely 12-year-old boys and things like that, sort of like going, usual dicks on the internet. But
exactly.
was it Gopher saying is that he doesn't like these paid for mods. He prefers keeping it as a hobby. Mm-hmm. So he's not defending it, but he is completely and totally embarrassed that some of the members of his community possibly have gone on there and sort of attacked these modders for what they've done, for basically doing what Steam asked them to do, was can you create mods for our paid for stuff. And he was like, I'm deeply shamed, and he goes, and I don't care. He goes, this might lose me quite a few subscribers or new listeners or anything like that, but I don't care because I'm deeply ashamed of what half the modding community has done here. So.
Yeah. Well, I have serious issues with the way Valve went about it and their supposed reasons for doing it, but we can talk about that after after this.
All right. Yeah. We'll get into that after the show. That's
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Let's see. It is 6:30. And we're back! If you missed us last week, this is the continuation, the Part B episode. So if you missed the Rescue to Fort Kostov, Blessings of Nature, and In My Time of Need from last week, please go back and check out that episode. For this week, we'll be getting into some more missions with our guys here on the Roundtable. We'll be going through Missing in Action, Kind's Trials, and Lost to the Ages. So, Victor, we'll go ahead and start with you. How did you find Missing in Action?
Well, you speak to Freya Greymane, who I believe is Eorlin's wife, the master smith of the Skyforge. At some point, you're at her little stall, and she's bemoaning the fact that she hasn't seen her son and doesn't know where he is, and so on and so forth. And in the course of the conversation, she doesn't want to talk about it right there, so you have to run back to her house with her. And you go to the house, and there's her other son, Avelstein, who is running around with his big axe, acting all threatening and everything. And once he's calmed down, you hear that they're sure that those goddamn Battleborns have something to do with this, and you need to find proof. So you go sneak into the Battleborn's house and find proof, which is often in a room to the side. Now, I've sneaked in there several times, and sometimes I've managed to get in there without stirring up any trouble, and sometimes I don't. This time, for some reason, there was somebody in there. I can't remember which one. And he started getting on my case, so I just killed him. Which I don't usually do. I don't know why I did that this time. I maybe just sheer persnicketiness or something. I usually try to be a little more realistic about things. But I just killed him, and when I got the proof and took it back to Avelstein, and so then it turns out that I forget his name. What's the brother's name? Torald, is it? Yeah. He is a prisoner of the Thalmor. And so they are in Northwatch, which is on the coast right across from Castle Volkihar there. So you need to go up there and take care of the problem. And boy, was it a problem. I had a hell of a time with those Thalmor. For some reason, again, I think maybe it's just where I am now. I was around level 30 when I started that, because that was the last one I did for this section. Maybe it's the mods I'm using. Maybe something is getting... I'm playing on Expert with these mods, and I was just getting one-shotted and one-shotted and one-shotted from the archers on the side of the... but we finally, I pulled out the Wraith and Belrand and Iona, and the other problem is usually there's... this is weird, because it's several times I've played through this quest, and sometimes there's 4 or 5 Nords with Avelstein, and this time it was just Avelstein and one other guy. So we had, so it was kind of screwed, But eventually we made it through. Once we were in the fort and running through the passages in the fort and stuff, it wasn't so bad, and we made it through there pretty easily, and freed Torald, who was very grateful, and you accompany him or escort him outside and send him on his way. And then you go back and tell... Oh, and he says to tell my mother, and I can't remember the exact quote. Maybe you have it written down there, something about the winds of seeds of the winter and the change of the whatevers and something like that, and kill a goat. And
kill a goat.
So, but you have to quote that to the mom, and she's content with that, because she knows her son's alive and so on. Now,
suffer the winter's cold wind.
Thank you. Yeah, something like that. For it brings the seeds of something or other, and blah blah blah.
For it bears aloft next summer's seeds.
Thank you. Now, I will say that once we had dispatched all those evil Thalmor bastards, here, from both sides, Imperial and Stormcloak, and now I'm using a mod called Complete Crafting Overhaul, and it's not the only mod that does this, but it allows you to deconstruct things at the forge, and at the not the forge, the smelters, and there's just a crap ton of elven armor in there. So I gathered every single piece of elven and Thalmor armor I could find, and now I have like 180 ingots of refined moonstone in my collection.
Nice.
But it also allows you to gain a small amount of smithing skill as you deconstruct and use the the smelter. So I went from level 40 smithing to like 60 something in one fell swoop, just deconstructing all that armor because it's pretty valuable stuff. So it levels you up pretty fast.
I hope that's something they include into the next game. Is the deconstruction will gain you smithing knowledge and ingots.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It does. It makes a huge amount of sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's pretty much the progression of the missing in action quest.
Mine was very similar, except for all the Thalmor were bedecked in glass armor.
Really?
So I was hauling.
Right, you're up a higher level there. Yeah.
I was hauling. I had the same issue. I was hauling every little tiny bit of armor I could have, even though I can't break it down to anything. I might be the only person who thinks this, but I love the way the glass armor looks. A lot of people who I've seen online just make fun of the glass armor and everything, but I think it looks super cool.
No, I kind of like it. Yeah.
I was bringing as much of that stuff as I could home, and it's one of those annoying things where I would pick up a bunch of armor and then get over encumbered, so I'd have to drop some stuff, and then I'd go kill some more people, pick up their glass armor, then have to drop more stuff, and then go find more people, take all their glass armor, and have to drop more stuff. So it took me forever to get through there. I have a question for you guys. Did you, by chance, run into any special vampires while running around the Northwatch Keep?
Not I.
I found... And I don't know why I did this. I'm a complete idiot. But when I was over there, I just happened to see the Volkihar castle off in the distance. So I swam over there and just sort of to open it up and take a look around a little bit. I didn't go into the castle or anything. I didn't even really fight anyone, but it opened it up on my map so that it was a discovered location. And then I swam immediately back over to Northwatch Keep and then was attacked by Volkihar vampire clans, like almost immediately. And those MFers are everywhere now. Every place I go into, I'm getting attacked by Volkihar vampires. And just because I discovered and opened up the location. I hadn't seen one in the game before, and now that I have discovered it, I can't get rid of them.
So had you started what?
What was that?
They got your scent.
Yeah, man, they are hot on my ass too.
Had you started Dawnguard yet?
No, I have not started Dawnguard or anything.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you do to start Dawnguard? Just go to the fort or the Castle Volkihar, one of the two?
No, I think you just meet up with one of the recruiters, right? That'll start it, or even a guard can start it if they tell you that's. Oh no, that doesn't start the quest or the DLC.
I hear they're starting a Dawnguard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that a bunch, but I haven't gone to Fort Dawnguard, and I just barely stepped on the shores of the Castle Volkihar, and those guys are just everywhere now. So if you don't want to be bogged down by vampire attacks, just avoid, try to avoid the temptation and don't go over there. It's because they're like super powered. Like vampires, at this point I can handle them pretty well, even like master level vampires. But as soon as one labeled Volkihar vampire pops up, like those guys are so effing strong. They're
got Thunderbolt or something, don't they?
Oh man, they're awful. And there was. I don't remember exactly where it was, but there was this one part where there's a ramp, a narrow ramp going up. There's a chamber that leads to a hallway going up a ramp, and there were just 3 of the vampires there sitting up top of the ramp. And it's a narrow path, so you can't just hop over people and charge up, but they had the high ground. They're just sitting there blasting you with whatever destruction magic they have, and you can't get up the ramp, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, I even tried slow time, shout, and then tried to get up there before, and then they would still just effing one-shot me every time. Oh, jeez, it's just the worst, those Volkihar vampires. Colin, do you have any fun over there in Northwatch Keep?
Was it my quest started off slightly differently. I was in the Greymane house robbing the bastards blind when Hovelstein came out of nowhere and walked right up the place. Hey, what are you doing in here? Hey, isn't your brother missing?
Nothing.
And he said he initiated the quest. Yes, and I didn't talk to because I was standing with. Yeah, I was standing with the Battleborns laughing at her that her son was dead. And then we went. I went inside at their house and I was robbing them blind. And then Ovalstein came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" And he goes, "Oh." And then he started talking to him about his missing brother. And he go, "Yeah, sure, we'll help you out." He run off. And then about 30 levels go past, and I'm sitting there in my house in solitude and listening to Cicero bemoan not being invited to be the king's jester, even though he's dead. And I was thinking, what should we do? What should we do? And he goes, "Oh well, we ain't gonna rescue that Stormcloak from the bloody Thalmor." But then we look around, there's nothing else to do, and then I get the bright idea: let's go to Northwatch Keep and rescue this guy from all the Thalmor, kill all the Thalmor, get him outside, and then kill him, because that'll be fun.
Yes.
So that's what we did. So we went to Northwatch Keep, we stormed the gates, and I was using, I had the sword in the right hand, and I had all the spells in the left, and I had, a cloak of flames, I had weakness to fire, I had concealment, so I kept on turning invisible so they couldn't find me. I had summoned Flame Atronach, and then I had also the there was the spell that sort of like imbues my sword with fire, so I was running around killing all those. I didn't pick up a single piece of armor, or I think I picked up a dagger off a table just because I was waiting for Thorold to catch up with us. We ran into the keep, rescued him. The only one who kind of gave us trouble was they're all congregated right at the very end, where you have the interrogator and you have a few guards, and there's there's about 4 guards and the interrogator. He was summoning up a Storm Atronach, blasting away with thunderbolts, so that kept on sort of like knocking me off balance. I had to pull back and let Cicero do some of the work and like heal up and then go back in again. But I got through the whole, basically stormed the place, like, just ran in, no sneaking or anything like that. Just started hacking away, and that was a lot of fun. Got outside, and he says, "Oh, that poem that he says," and all right, yeah, sure. And then he runs off. "Oh, goodbye," and then I blasted him with a dual-wielded flaming skulls. And I go, "Right, let's go back to the Stormcloaks." Yeah. And then we go back and go, "Right, let's go home and tell his mother he's dead."
We killed him.
But it doesn't give you the option.
No. Well, I was trying to sort of find a way that I could explain it in my story why an Imperial soldier, or now a legate in my position, would have any interest in going into my own party's camp, release an enemy, and kill my own brethren in arms. Like, why would I do this? I couldn't figure out why I was doing this. So I actually played it a couple different times. The first time I went in to the Greymane home there in Whiterun and just immediately started attacking Ovalstein?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ovalstein, yeah.
So I started attacking him, and immediately eventually took a knee, but he must be...
He's essential.
So I couldn't kill him, but it did let me fail the mission immediately, so that was nice. So then I reloaded again and went back and then sort of cooperated with him. Then I went into did the whole thing where you go in and rescue him and bring him out, Thorold, that is. And after I rescued him, we're all standing around in the courtyard, and he was doing the thing, well, tell my mother, suffer the winter's cold wind, and she will reply, for it bears aloft next summer seeds. But as soon as he said that, I went and tried to kill him too, and then I saved right before this just so I wouldn't actually fail the mission or whatever. But I couldn't really come up with a good reason why I should have been doing the things that I was doing as an Imperial soldier. So I killed him too at the end there, but then I reloaded and let him go join the Stormcloaks, and I was just thinking in the back of my head, well, I just released him so I could, let him go get, maybe he's deteriorated in skills a little bit being trapped in a dungeon for so long, and I felt pity for him, so maybe I'll let him go with the Stormcloaks, train up a little bit, and I'll meet him later on, maybe at the doorstep of Winterhold. Windhelm, I mean, sorry. I always get this two mixed up. Juan always does that to me. So, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really find a way to tell the story correctly in my head that what I was doing was making sense. But I guess I rescued him to let him live, and we'll just try to kill him later, I guess.
A sociopathic Dunmar helps your story along. She has Cicero, like, whispering things in her ear, going, "Let's go kill this, eat that." And then he sort of like, you're in the middle of sneaking up on some sort of briar heart, and then he stops and starts singing and dancing about murdering a Nelly and stabbing her in the belly, or
he's very sick.
Absolute fruitcake.
I mean, I really need to. Cicero in my current playthrough is laying dead at the new Dark Brotherhood sanctuary up in Dawnstar, on the table where Nazim is sitting eating his breakfast and drinking his tea. I dragged his naked corpse up on the table for all to see, and it's still sitting there. I thought it would have disappeared by now, but every time I go back there, Cicero is still sitting naked on the table, and is it Nazim? Is that the guy's name? He's still sitting there drinking his tea or whatever, acting like there's not a dead guy sitting right on this table.
He's still standing out on the road in front of Lorius's farm in mine, so I haven't,
oh, yeah?
Yeah. I haven't done anything with Dark Brotherhood.
Well, go get him. Make him your follower.
Nah, no, I'm not going to do Dark Brotherhood on this one.
Yeah, so just, I failed the quest. Surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Well, you're more ballsy than I. I, for some reason, didn't want to see the failed quest there. So when I went back to, what's her name, Freya, you tell her, suffer the winter's cold wind, and she will reply, for it bears aloft next summer's seeds. And then you complete the quest. She gives you 200 gold, and if, what's her husband's name? Not Aomir.
No, Aorland.
Aorland, the Smitty up at the Skyforge. If he is still alive, you get an enchanted weapon from his armory, I believe. That's what I have written down.
Yeah, I forget what I got.
I don't remember what I got either.
Yeah, it went quickly. Anything. Really? Oh, you failed.
Yeah, you killed her son. Remember?
Hey, it was funny.
Human lives.
I think I killed Cam on him as well. So.
When you killed Toril, were you able to kill Avelstein too, or is he still essential after the quest is complete?
I didn't invite him along.
Oh, okay. Oh, you went by yourself. Okay, all right, yeah. That's right. I forgot there's that option, isn't there? You say you'll take care of it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can go in there as an illusion specialist, and you can go in there and charm everybody and get them out without killing any of the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, Andrew, you could have done it that way.
Sorry, what was that? I was looking at my notes. What was that?
You could have gone in and calmed and pacified everybody, and
your amazing skill in illusion magic.
Yeah, I don't think I have one spell of illusion magic under my belt yet. I think I've got some spell tomes laying at home that I haven't, activated yet.
You could have paralyzed everybody.
Oh yeah, I have that the master level alteration paralysis, mass paralysis spell. That's really fun. I like using that. I don't use it too often, but it really knocks the shit out of everybody. It's great.
When you what's one of the best times I ever used the normal paralyzed one, but the mass one will work as well, is when you're doing a Dawn Guard and you're going after all those farmer that are on the ice really high up.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hit him with paralyze and then to fall to the floor and then slide off and off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, well, I had a scroll of mass paralysis, and during one of my many deaths trying to storm Northwatch Keep, I used that, and it paralyzed all of Thalmor, all my companions, Avelstein, and everybody else. I'm standing there in the middle of this bunch of paralyzed bodies. Well, that didn't work very well. I just sort of wandered off until it wore off and got killed again. Oh well.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Anything else for missing in action, gentlemen?
Nope. I'm all done.
My only word of advice would be do not swim across the Sound to open up the Volkihar vampires. That was a mistake on my part. Don't do that.
Did you guys rescue the other prisoners, or did you just like walk past them and laugh?
No, I did. Of course, I would have. As a loyal Stormcloak, I'd have to rescue all of them. Even if
they were very grateful as well, weren't they?
Somewhat. They all ran off.
They didn't help?
No.
Bastards.
There's one Khajiit that did something, but I'm afraid I can't remember what he did. He made some nasty comment.
Not a Khajiit.
Yeah, something snarky. Anyway, sorry.
I don't believe it for a second. No. Well, we'll go ahead and launch into our next quest then. We'll go to Kyne's Trials. So, Colin, would you like to say your piece on Kyne's Trials?
Let's see. Kyne's Trials is, according to Michael, you run all over the rift for ages and ages, completely lost and can't find Froaky's shack. Screaming out, "Why can't I find Froaky's shack?" And then kill a giant, but don't go in and talk to the the people in the whatchamacallit keep. And then you go and then you help out Ilya kill her mother, and then you run off and you kill a few bears, and then you finally find Froaky's shack. And, you go in and talk to Froaky, and he says, all these people with their divines, you young city slicker, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about, you don't know, like a good Nord warrior, you should be not like these foreigners, do the proper trials of Kyne and show that you're a proper warrior. I'll anoint you with the sigil of the Skiva, the monkey and badger
and the goat.
Something like that. Yeah. And goat. If you go off and kill these the spirits in the way that was supposed to be like a proper hunter would, at the end of it we'll give you the blessing of Kyne to show that you're respect animals and blah 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 blah. So then you're on a sort of like a traveling trip of going all over Skyrim, traveling from place to place to kill the spirit of all these animals in spirit form. But it was the same in Michael's playthrough as it was in mine. Took like 2 shots and they were dead. They weren't particularly difficult. So you get the first 3, which was a Skiva, a wolf, and what was the other one?
Mudcrab.
Mudcrab. That was it. And then you have to go back to Froaky and he says, right, I've killed the 3, and he goes, right. And you give him a bit like, what, the Skiva, that's like, too easy, and he blah, blah. He goes, well, here you go, you got to fight the saber cat, the bear, who's got a special name. All the rest of them are saber cat, spirit, blah, blah, but the bear's got a special name, doesn't he? Ursine or something like that?
Yeah, the guardian of Ursine or something, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that Latin for bear?
Yeah,
I think Ursus,
Ursus is Latin for bear. Yeah.
And he appears in a big ring of white caps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a fairy ring. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's was it there? I think right behind him there's a shrine to Akatosh that you can get there. There's a skill book there as well. I can't remember what it was.
It's over near that place that's part of the Nightingale, the final Thieves Guild quest there, isn't it? It's near Knife Point Ridge. That's where the bear is. Yeah.
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 And so then he sent you off to go and fight the bear, the saber cat, and no, I forgot the third one again.
Mammoth, maybe?
Mammoth, that's it.
Yeah.
And you find that mammoth in a pretty cool spot. I thought that was really neat. It was like
the place from The Lion King? Yeah.
Exactly.
Pride Rock.
It's basically an elephant graveyard. It was really...
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. That's right next to Heljarken, where the house goes. It's right there.
Yeah, it's west of the Lorius farm.
Yeah. It's
you fight all those, and even the mammoth wasn't very tough. And then you go back, and then he says, right, now you need to go off and face the troll champion. And once you face him, then you will have Kain's favor. So you teleport to the ritual stone, and you jump down, and there's the I can't the name of it now. The cave, whatever the cave is, it's Troll Cave, just opposite Whiterun.
Grey Winter Watch.
Grey Winter Watch, that's it. Just underneath the ritual stone, and you go in there, and there's a couple of normal trolls, and then the spirit of the troll champion is just above you with all these skulls all on the end of the precipice. Looks very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you go in there, you go kill the troll, and I had actually been in there before, so I had picked it up earlier, but right at the very back you find Froki's bow inside Great Winter Watch. It's got a little stamina enchantment on it. I think it's one of those long bows, the really cheap wooden ones, the ones that you get at the very start of the game.
Yeah, it's 10 points of stamina damage.
That's it. But yeah, I went in there earlier, killed some trolls, found it, and then had it. Good, but it's not like a quest item, so it doesn't permanently stay in your inventory like Draven's bow. You can sort of like take it out and throw it in a chest, something like that. I had it on the horse, and yeah, so I think it adds to the story of because if I hadn't been in there before, I would have killed the trolls, had a look around, and I would have found Froki's bow there, proving that maybe he'd done Kain's trials years ago, and so he'd gone around and he'd done the same thing that you just done.
Yeah, I was about to ask if that, since his bow was there, it means he must have been there before, unless a troll brought it in with them for some reason. But all these ghost animals are just the animals that Froki has gone and killed himself already.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, because that mud crab's dead, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, so Froki's bow, you try to give it back to him or something, right? Isn't there a speech option where you can, hey, I found this, would you like your bow back? And he doesn't take it, he makes you
keep it. Says, yeah, you can keep that, and I go, it's a bow, and I throw it on the floor.
I never even found it.
Give it to that little boy sitting in the cabin with him. Is that his nephew or something? Who is that little kid? There's a little kid with
his grandson.
His grandson.
His grandson.
Okay.
From
actually, and in the Helgen Reborn quest, there isn't the what's his name? The guy who wrote it added in some story options for I forget how it works, but I think you can Froki and what was his name, Hamar or something like that. You can either move back to Helgen, or there's a story option that's added into that, which is pretty cool. But I'm not doing Helgen Reborn on this one, so I didn't.
Is part of the Helgen Reborn quest line actually rebuilding Helgen,
yes,
like
that's
sort
the whole
of
point
repairing the city?
Yeah, it's a really great side quest. It's a really well done quest. Colin's done it.
What, do they make you go out and mine quarried stone and clay?
Oh, no,
yes,
it's nothing
okay.
like that. No, it's more. It's an adventure.
This is a great quest. Pick.
Yeah, right.
Pick. Oh, this is fun, guys! I found some clay. Pick.
No, it's a really good quest. But anyway,
turns it into a real big town. It's bigger than it's like the little towns, but bigger than the little towns, because you have the keep in the center, and then it'll start to slowly spread out to houses outside the keep. So you'll have by the end of it, you'll have an alchemist shop, a blacksmith, an inn. You have your own tower. You know the tower that you're in front of that Alduin lands on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's rebuilt.
Becomes a player home, and a really nice one. It's really well done.
That's cool.
Too. Yeah.
I'd like to have a tower. That'd be nice.
I was going to start going into what I guess, but I was thinking, what if somebody hasn't played through it, and I don't want to give any spoilers. So
yeah.
I think our whole podcast is a spoiler show.
Yes, basically.
So I don't think you can worry about spoiling people and stuff so much. I mean, we are just going through each quest telling what happened, so... Spoiler alert, guys, I should have said at the top of the show.
Gosh, we didn't start saying that at the very beginning? Was it a year and a half ago or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, our next episode 6 of this season, will put us in within 3 days of our year anniversary of starting this podcast.
Yay. We'll have to celebrate.
Yeah. We'll tip one back, crack one open. Yeah, sounds good. So, how'd you guys find Kyne's Trials? Any other interesting things happen in your questing around to slaughter those poor animals?
Okay, well, I decided, since Faldir is a good Nord, an older Nord, and in fact a follower of Kyne, that I would do a little more role playing with this one. So what I did was I did take since I had found the bound bow, Faldir went back to Honeyside and left all his stuff, everything, including his clothes. Took his bound bow and smithed a dwarven dagger with a flame enchantment on it, and that's it, and went out to do Kyne's Trials.
And a loincloth with a dagger.
And a loincloth with his dagger and bound bow, which is really cool. I had a lot of fun with this.
That is a good idea.
So I went so the idea was, in the process, I would hunt and gather materials to make whatever I needed to protect myself for the further trials. So I hunted elk and deer and so on, and gathered furs, and went and found some iron and mines and so on and so forth, and eventually smithed up some hunter armor. I had to kill a couple of bandits, and I stole some stuff off their bodies, scavenged around, sort of played it as if I was just starting the game completely. And that's the way I went through Kyne's Trials. So eventually, at the end, I had enough protection to kill the trolls and so on and so forth, and get the measly token of Kyne, or whatever it is, that gives you 10% better.
What is that? I was gonna say it's like 3%, isn't it?
It's nothing.
Animal damage, or so. It's pretty useless.
It's kind of pathetic, but it was fun.
Yeah, you think your one was bad? Mine was you take 25% less, because the magic mod changes it. You take 25% less damage from animals, and you do 25% more damage with bows. I threw that thing on the floor and then picked it up with the grab button and threw it at Froki's head.
That's funny.
This is what I think of your little token.
You and your token. Yeah, he's really upped the amulets you get, the amulet of Mara, the amulet of Akatosh. He's really upped the powers of those. And the actual amulet of Kinnereth, the normal one, has basically a permanent enchantment, like the the voice of the sky, where animals won't attack you unless you attack them first. It has that on the amulet. So while I'm wearing that, wolves, bears, anything like that won't attack me.
See, that's what it really should be. If you complete Kyne's Trials, you should get some sort of. I mean, 10% is ridiculous.
That's what's on mine, and I love that, because you run past on the horse, and the wolves are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're chasing after a rabbit, trying to kill a rabbit, or they're chasing after an elk, trying to kill the elk. They're not coming after a heavily armored human on top of a horse trying to kill that.
Yeah.
They're going after the rabbit and the elk. So
that's why I use a mod, or I did for a long time, although it's turned out I think it was causing some issues. But there's a really great mod called One with Nature, which allows you to set individually set all of the AI for every animal creature in Skyrim. So you can set them to defensive or friendly or allied or vanilla or what. And I've used that mod in a lot of playthroughs to keep the wolves from, because it's ridiculous. I mean, wolves don't act that way.
Especially if they're on their own, one or two, they're not going to attack a heavily armored human on top of a horse. I mean, 6 or 7 of them, they'll go for him.
Well, wolves never attack people. In reality, wolves don't attack people. Period. Ever, which is interesting. But at least in Skyrim, it should be a little more ridiculous instead of just running around attacking everything that moves. So.
Well, as I was preparing my notes here for Kyne's Trials, and I have actually never used this shout or power, but my wood elf power that comes with each race. Each race gets a power that you start off with the game.
Yeah, you got the super duper one, didn't you?
Yeah, it's called Animal Allegiance. I think that's what it's called, is Animal Allegiance, where you can do that power and then animals won't attack you. And I didn't even think about using this because I don't think I've ever activated that. I guess I don't have a problem fighting animals so much. But they were saying that if you go up to all of the Guardian Mud Crab or Guardian Bear, when any of these ghostly visions of themselves, you can use that Animal Allegiance and they'll just sit there and stare at you. And you can just pound them to death, and they won't attack you at all. They won't retaliate. Even after you hit them once, they won't all of a sudden turn angry and start attacking you again. You can just do that Animal Allegiance shout, and they will just sit there and let you beat them to death.
That's not very sporting.
that eliminates the purpose of hunting. That's like going to those deer huntings where they trap the deer inside of a pen and have those deer feeders on the tree, and just people can sit in a cabin on the porch with next to a heater and just take their gun and shoot a tame deer that is trained to go to a feeder.
That's great. Yeah.
It's a good job.
That's why Faldir got naked and took a dagger and
become one with nature. Yeah,
exactly.
Scared his neighbors.
That scared his neighbors. Yeah.
That bloody Nord's running naked across the field again.
Doris, call the police. Yeah.
Oh, so any other kinds, trials, adventures, gentlemen?
I don't think so.
All right, then we'll go ahead and launch. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, was it just yeah, sorry. The kids, if they see you trying to use a spell, they'll ask you to turn them invisible. Have you had that before?
You mean like children in your house?
Yeah. Well, if you're in front of the kids in solitude, if you start doing it working a spell, they'll stop you and say, "Oh, well, if you know magic, can you turn me invisible?" And then you can talk to them and go, "Yeah, well, there you go, you're invisible." Ha! It's it's great. You're a skeever, and he starts running off, going nuts and all that. Well, I when I was inside the cabin, I was doing a spell, and the kid comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, wow, you can do magic. Can you turn me invisible?" And I was like, "Yes, I can," because I have the Fade Other spell. And I blasted him with Fade Other and turned him invisible.
Nice.
But I think that Fade Other spell must have been originally a part of Skyrim, because when I had Gorbash as my follower, if I had hit him with it, he actually had a speech come back, and he goes, "Orcs walk into battle, they don't sneak around," and blah blah blah. Every time I hit him with the spell, it came back, him saying this line because I kept on making him invisible. He didn't like it because he wanted. So I think it was originally supposed to be.
So they scripted it, but eliminated it for some reason.
Yeah, took it out for some reason.
Does it behave similarly to the shout become ethereal would do, or do they actually disappear?
No, they actually disappear like a normal invisibility spell.
Have you used interesting NPCs, Colin?
I have, but I don't have it on this playthrough.
Because if you use it, I use it a lot, and it's so huge that it's just it's constantly finding new stuff. But one of the things that the author of that mod did, which is really amazing, is he was able to integrate his NPCs and their voice-acted conversations with the vanilla game's conversations. And so there's times when, especially if you're used to the game and you've played it a lot vanilla, where all of a sudden these extra NPCs are interacting with the vanilla NPCs in new conversations, which he's put together out of
Their
snippets.
Old lines.
Yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
cool.
It's really, really well done. It really sort of draws you right into the game. It's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a great one in what's his name? The guy who's running the bar with Delphine in Riverwood.
Oh yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. There's a great one. There's an interesting NPC that goes in there, and she has conversations with him that are really quite good, quite funny, and very entertaining.
Yeah,
and she's a part of a much bigger quest as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's see. So we'll bring Kind's trials to a close. Thank you, Kind, for your very valuable amulet. Very useful. Thanks for that. And we'll go into our last quest for the evening. This is sort of a longer, sort of drawn out. Took me a couple different playthroughs at least to get through it. I didn't sit down and do it all in one go. But here we'll go into Lost to the Ages. And since I was starting out with archery, it was one of my assigned one of my assigned schools there to start off the game. I was doing a little bit of research before I started, trying to find out what bows are most useful early on in the game. So I came across one that would be kept in Arkingthams, which is a dwarven ruin, sort of off in the direction of Markarth, but sort of southeast of the Dushnik Yal and the Markarth area, that orc stronghold, not far from Markarth. But you go to Arkingthams, and that's where I was tipped off that the bow Zephyr would be. And so I went there pretty much when I first started this character, and the UESP recommended that you be a level 16 before going into Arkingthams, and I was maybe level 4 or 5 by the time I got there. But it still wasn't much of a trouble. When you approach the outside of the Dwarven Ruin, it becomes very unwelcoming with loud sounds and earthquakes and all sorts of bad stuff going on. But when you enter in the ruin there, the first few steps, you go in, you'll hear a ghostly woman's voice say, "Go back before it's too late," or something along those lines. You don't want to get trapped here. This is bad news. Turn around. And if you have a follower, mine always says stuff like, "Uh-oh, here we go," or, well, better tighten up those bootstraps because shit's about to go down. So when you walk in there and you refuse to obey the voice and you just keep going in, you'll find the ghost of Katria, I guess it's pronounced, Katria. Katria was an adventurer who you find out by reading her journal here in just a second, who was trying to find some old Dwemer artifacts called Ethereum shards to try to locate the Ethereum Forge. And she will sort of help you along the way. This long quest of Lost to the Ages, it starts off in Arkingthams, but it'll take you to 4 other locations, all scattered across the whole world of Skyrim. But when you first go in, there's more shaking, more earthquakes, more ominous warnings to stay out, it's danger ahead. But you find Katria's body, and she's all sort of crumpled up on this little platform out in the middle of this open sort of area. And I, of course, did the gross perverted thing and took all of her clothes and everything while her ghost is standing right beside me. And she just stands there and shakes her head and says, "Can't you at least leave me with a little bit of respect and not leave me here, like, naked?" So she slaps me on the wrist a little bit there, but I still take all the stuff off of her, including her journal, which is the most helpful thing out of this whole bunch. But anyway, it starts off in Arkingthams, and there's sort of a dwarven ruin that you swish and swallow and go all this the way and that up through these ruins. As you're going up different levels, you'll come across a few Falmer. There's dwarven automatons of different kinds. I think maybe a couple spiders, maybe a sphere or two. This was a long time ago in my playthrough, so I'm a little fuzzy with this portion. But I do remember coming across Falmer and trying to start off with my archery, getting it going, trying to hide as best I can and get them from as far away as distance as possible. Because at a lower level like that, the Fulmer can be pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
But once you find your way all the way up to the summit of Arkhangthams, out on a log that is setting out over this huge canyon, this like chasm that has been created by all the earthquakes. I forgot to mention that Katria died when she was up top, and an earthquake took the ground out from beneath her feet, and she fell a great distance and landed where she did, and that's what caused her ultimate demise. But up at the top, on the log that is reaching out over the chasm, is her old bow, Zephyr. And Zephyr was my main goal for the first time I started up the game. So I grabbed that bow and jumped up and clicked my heels and rejoiced. What is the enchantment on Zephyr? Do you recall, Colin?
The bow fires 30% faster.
Yes.
Somebody was saying something that it doesn't fire more arrows. The arrows move faster towards the target, not that you actually fire more arrows within a certain amount of time.
Really? How does that work?
I wondered about that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Somebody was saying that.
Well, because I've always noticed that I've tried it, I've used it before, and I always wondered, this really doesn't feel that much faster than any other bow.
But how would arrows traveling and hitting their target faster not be faster? I mean, that still would make it go fast. Maybe it doesn't fire faster, but the whole process of loosing an arrow is faster, right? No,
theoretically, once you've loosed an arrow, you can draw another. Well, again, I've kind of forgotten how it works in the vanilla game, because in the most of the playthroughs I'm using, there's a distinction between a short bow and a long bow, and a short bows draw and load faster than long bows. So I don't really...
So this is just grading how fast the arrow travels through the air, not an actual...
Once released, yeah.
So it shouldn't say bows fire. It says something like bows fire 30% faster. It shouldn't say that. It should say arrows travel 30% faster in the air.
Actually, that's what I'm saying. There's an argument, I say that there's some debate on what it's doing. Because as Victor was saying, when I've ever used it, I don't see that it's drawing any faster, that I'm pulling the arrow and within a minute's time I fire 4 arrows instead of with a normal bow I fire 3 arrows. I haven't noticed that. And 30% is a fair chunk of change, so you would notice it.
That would be a noticeable difference, yeah.
Well, here's what the UASP says. The bow rests blah blah blah. Although its enchantment does not really do anything, this bow has a much higher speed compared to a regular dwarven bow, as the enchantment description claims. Its extremely fast draw speed makes it one of the quickest bows available, alongside bows such as Auriel's bow and Froki's bow. Zephyr can be further improved, so you can actually smith it up. Yeah. According to that, anyway.
And it's of dwarven make, I assume, correct?
It is a dwarven bow, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'd never noticed that it actually drew faster. Maybe, again, I don't know.
Maybe it's got that Andrew's decimal point in the wrong place, and it's 3% faster.
Yeah.
Something unnoticeable.
Yeah.
So yeah, if once you claim Zephyr at the summit, is this when you then tonal lock, or is that?
Yeah, that's the tonal lock is the next.
Okay, yeah, this is the next portion. Go down the hallway to the tonal lock, and using Katria's journal, you will be able to find out part of the puzzle. The puzzle is that there are these. What are those things called?
They're resonators.
Resonators. Yeah. There are these spinny doohickeys called resonators that if you hit them with a weapon or a spell, they will spin and unlock. They train you in this earlier in the dungeon of Arkhangthams. There's a couple of doors, I think, that you have to open by hitting these resonator things. So when you get to the tonal lock part, there is a puzzle where there are 5 different resonators that you have to hit in a specific pattern, and if you do not hit them in the correct pattern, they release different enemies I think some of the enemies are probably spiders, the other spheres. I think there might be even a what are the big guys called? Not guardians.
Centurions.
Centurions. Yeah, the Centurion in there as well. Actually, I think you see him like sleeping if you don't wake him up. But if you get it in the correct order, he won't wake up at all. None of the enemies will come out. So you actually get, I think, maybe 2 bits of information, 2 clues from Katria's journal. But also, she will tip you off that, oh look, there's a poor little adventurer dead over there. Maybe we should look at his corpse and see if he has any clues. But he has a scrap of paper on him as well that will let you know one of the points, I believe, that Katria already told you, and then another one. So now you know 3 out of the 5 different resonators in which order you have to hit them. And then I guess just by trial, you have to figure out the last 2. But in the tonal lock of spoiler alert in our spoiler cast here, the bottom left is 1, the bottom right is 2, the top left is 3, top right is 4, and bottom middle is 5. That's the order you want to do the tonal lock in, if you'd like to avoid fighting all the things. But once you go back behind the tonal lock, the gate opens up for you. And then you find a mysterious piece of equipment that the Dwemer used called an Ethereum shard. And Katria goes into some explanation about where the Ethereum comes from, what it is, what it means. And as I was reading up for the notes here, some people actually think that the Ethereum is part of the reason that the Dwemer society, the 4 or 5 major cities that the Dwemer have, maybe the Ethereum got too strong, or their dependence upon it or something got too strong, and that caused the collapse of the Dwemer society. No, I mean, this is all a mystery in the game, held in clouded mysteries and everything. So we don't really know, but Ethereum definitely has something to do with why these people disappeared from the face of the earth. But then you get this Ethereum shard, and Katria informs you, oh, this is just one piece of it. You need to find, is it 3 or 4? I think just 3 more pieces of this to form one complete circle. So you want to go find these other parts, and they're all across the landscape of Skyrim, like I said. But in Katria's journal, she's got 5 locations circled on her map. She's got a hand-scrawled map in her book, and you will find the different locations. The first closest being Deep Folk Crossing, which is on the west side of the map, just north of the Bethardam's dwarven ruin, the Dwemer ruin. Deep Folk Crossing, as far as I know, doesn't have an interior section to it at all. It's just an exterior portion. You go over this bridge, and you find a little sort of outdoor shrine, and it's got one of those like convector ovens or something that Arneil Gain maybe sends you on a quest for the Mages College, I believe, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's one of those at every site. There's a convector at each one of the Ethereum sites, I think.
Yeah. So, but I think this is the only one that you don't actually have to go inside anywhere. This is just kind of everything sitting outside for you there, and they'll leave you a nice dwarven, maybe piece of armor. I think I picked up a helmet and maybe a dagger or something sitting there too. But that's the first location, is Deep Folk Crossing on the west side of the map there. The next one I found was at Raldbethar, however that is pronounced, Raldbethar, southwest of Windhelm, and it's a larger dungeon, and it's in the very last chamber. There's an Ethereum shard piece there. The next is at Mazulft, but it's not actually in the dwarven ruin of Mazulft, because that is a bigger ruin that you have to go through, I believe, also as part of the Mages College, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Mazulft also has an entrance to Blackreach, doesn't it?
I believe so. But not actually in Mazulft, but sort of just down the steps a few yards, you'll find something labeled as the Dwarven Storeroom, I believe it's called. And just outside of Mazulft, and you go in there, and I think there's like maybe a little door puzzle that you have to figure out, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you can just pick the locks or whatever, but there's an Ethereum shard in there in the Dwarven storeroom.
It's just lockpicks.
Just lockpicks, okay.
Yeah.
And that is the fourth piece that I picked up. So then you have all 4 pieces, and at that point, Katria will inform you that now it's time to go find the actual forge. So you find the last spot that she marked off on her map, and it is near Bethalft. God, I hate these Dwemer words. Bethalft, which is southeast of Iverstead, which actually might not be too far from Froki's shack, right?
It's just below Froki's shack, yeah.
Yeah. So we were just there with Froki's shack, and then go back and find the forge right underneath Froki's shack. So southeast of Iverstead, and you go and you find this. I think it looks kind of like an arrow, circled in sort of like a gyroscope type looking thing. And she says, "Oh, this is an interesting piece. Let's see what happens when we put the Ethereum shards in here." And then I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but I got a little warning when I put all the Ethereum shards in. It said, "Step back away from the."
Yeah.
When you scrolled across the top of the screen, when you pick something up, it says, gold added or whatever. But it said, "Step back away" or "clear the area" or something like that. And I got back, of course, but my dog, Vigilance, was still standing on top of it. Have any of you seen what happens when you're standing on top of this thing when you add all the Ethereum shards? It's great.
No, I haven't.
It's like when you get smacked with a Giants club and get sent flying into space.
Really?
And I was like, holy crap, I haven't saved in forever. Did I just lose Vigilance for the whole damn game?
No.
But then, 20 seconds later, I saw him fall directly straight back down and landed right beside me, and he just turned and looked at me like nothing happened. It was awesome. So he got launched into space, and then I was like, oh crap, now Vigilance is gone forever. And he's a one-time thing. You can't go buy more Vigilances, so if he's dead, you're done. But he landed right beside me and didn't look like he took any damage. He was his normal, happy, barking self. So then you go in, and that area shoots up, and it sort of spins around and forms like this tower, and then you go into the bottom of the tower is where they keep the forge. What happens when you get into the forge area, Victor?
Well, you go down and forge stuff, Andrew.
Go forge stuff. What did
forge stuff.
Did you have a welcoming committee on your way in?
Oh well, yeah. You go in there and you gotta go. You go down a long ways, and Katria comments that it's very deep, so deep, very deep. And then when you get down there, I forget what the actual sequence. Do you turn? First you turn off the steam. You have to find the valves and turn the steam off, which she helpfully suggests that you do. And then I believe once you've turned the steam off, that's what opens the gates and lets out various spiders and spheres and things like that, which you have to defeat. Once you've defeated those, and then the steam starts coming back up again, so you have to run around and turn the steam valves off again. And then you have to defeat the Forge Master, who is a giant centurion that breathes bloody fire instead of steam. He wasn't as tough as I had remembered him being this time, so we kind of just ganged up on him and took him down.
That's cool. I saw when I was doing my notes that if you don't want to fight him for some reason or whatever, you can just run up one of those chutes off to the side and hide, and actually Katria is actually powerful enough to kill him herself, so you don't actually have to do anything if you don't want to. Yeah.
And I had some fire resistance, so I took potions and
he completely owned me.
Really?
He was he had he could summon a potent flamethrower.
Ooh.
You got the difficult enemies mod, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get close to him because he radiated fire. If I got in within 10 feet of him, I burst into flames.
So he had a flame cloak and a flame thrall.
Yeah, but there was no cloak on him. He just radiated heat because he just came up out of the magma, didn't he?
Out of the lava, yeah.
Yeah, so he was radiating heat. I got close to him. I burst into flame. I'm playing with a Dunmer. She's 50% resistant to fire.
Yeah.
She's got resist magic up the wazoo, like on her boots and on some other part of her armor. I think on her ring, and he could do this. Summon a flame entity, and that thing would one-shot her. It's like basically a just giant ball of flames.
Wow.
And then he would lay down that giant hammer, and that was like an area of effect Fusro Da. Anything that was anywhere close to him just sent them flying, apart from Katria, because she was a ghost. And then I had, Centurion Workers, which is basically a Druger Deathlord, but made to look like a walking Dwemer machine.
Oh, cool.
And it had like big, like not warhammers, maces. So they had dwarven maces, and it was basically the model of a Druger Deathlord, but they had maces instead of, and they were all made it look like a dwarven machine.
Interesting.
And,
that's cool.
Dear God, man, I died like 4 or 5 times. Had to go into sneak, and obviously he was completely 100% fire resistant. Because if he's doing that much fire damage, he's got to be fire resistant.
Yeah.
And he's just come out of the magma, so fire's not going to do too much. So I had to hit him with, a weakness to shock, and then blast him with shock bloom from across the other side of the room. But he absolutely owned me. I couldn't get anywhere close to him.
Did you have Cicero with you at this point?
Yeah, but he stayed upstairs. Miserable little bastard. He was up there dancing. He stopped and started singing his song and started dancing, so the stairs went back and disappeared all the way back up.
That's funny.
Oh, chicken.
It was enjoyable to get beaten that badly, that easily. It hasn't happened in quite a long time, but he just completely owned me. Couldn't get anywhere near him. I had to do the whole thing from distance.
That's awesome. And here you were thinking, oh, I'm way too overpowered.
Nothing
can touch me.
Oh, good.
That's great.
Immersive creatures just absolutely, pwned me. There was no way I could have beaten him. I was like, this is absolutely awesome. But I was thinking about going back to Arkham Thems, because that came out. The Lost Ages came out with Dawnguard, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Were they taking the piss out of all the other Dwarven ruins? Because this one, you start at the bottom and you work your way up. All the other Dwarven ruins, they all go down.
Huh.
But
That's
Arkham
true.
Thems, you go in and you go up.
Huh.
I think they were kind of taking the piss, the bastards.
Never thought about that.
On your way through Arkham Thems, did you sneak around and open that one door that she comments on? You know, you get to that one ledge there. She says, "Oh, there's a chest in there, but I can't figure out how to get in there."
Yeah, you have to. Well, I didn't do it this time. I've done it before, but when you
Yeah.
travel down and then you find the bloody thing and you go back in, and I think there's like £2 in that chest or something.
Yeah, it's nothing, but it's nothing great.
Not worth your time.
Not really, no. But I enjoy the quest. That's the one that got completely bugged on me with Slide. I couldn't do it.
So what's your reward then, Victor? What happens after you've dealt with the Forge Master? What's your reward? What direction did you take this?
Well, you forge stuff, Andrew. That's your reward.
Just forging willy-nilly.
Yeah, stuff. Well, you take that Ethereum cog, which is made out of all those shards, and stick it in the forge there. And if you've wandered around the whole forge area, you've picked up a bunch of loot from various things in there, which provides you with all the materials needed. I think that was very nice of the game designers to do, so you didn't have to run out and get the flawless amethyst or whatever you need to forge. So there's 3 things you can forge. You can forge a shield, you can forge a staff, and you can forge a crown, and the only one that's really worth a damn is the crown.
That seems to be what most people agree on.
Yeah. The rest of them are kind of dorky. So I always do the crown. So that's what I did.
And can you remind us what each of these artifacts, or at least what the crown does?
Yeah, I can tell you what the crown does. I don't remember what the other ones do. The crown allows you to retain your current stone and add one to it, so you can have two guardian stones effective at the same time.
And I know that Colin has a specific set of the stones he likes to have activated at once. What do you like?
The same ones, I believe. We both do. The Lord and the Lady are the two best to have, I think.
And did they plan that so that the Lord and the Lady would go together well?
I don't know.
No,
are those the two you use, Colin?
Appropriate.
That is the two I use, yes.
Yeah.
But no, was it the Lord and Lady Stone were already out in the normal game, and then that came out in the DLC with Dawnguard, so I don't think they planned it together. But it does sound nice, you know.
Yes, the Lord and the Lady.
Yeah.
Remind us what those stones do for us, Colin.
The Lord Stone grants you, I think it's, in my game anyway, it was 50 points of armor and to your armor rating, and 25% resistance to magic. That was the Lord Stone. The Lady Stone increases your health and stamina regeneration.
Very nice. Yeah, those sound like they would do well together. I'm always infatuated with I believe it's called the Serpentine Stone as well. But if you already have, invisibility, if you're good in the illusion school, you don't really need it. But I haven't touched the illusion school at all, so the Serpentine Stone is one I like to play around with sometimes, and that just lets you become invisible, I believe, once a day.
Yeah, the stones. I mean, the stones are nice. My biggest thing is that in order to use the stones effectively, you have to be willing to fast travel, and since I really never ever fast travel in my games except using the carriages and stuff, I don't really ever get to use the stones.
You don't stumble upon them very often. Yeah.
Well, not stumble upon them. I mean, but once you've discovered them all, if you can fast travel to one to use it for a specific thing, and then fast travel to another to change. Yeah, so I think that's the way they're meant to be used. But I just
in your style of play, the Ethereum Crown would actually be really nice, so you wouldn't have to travel all the way around and do that.
Right, so I just travel over to the area above Stone Hills there where the Lord Stone is, and then Lake Ilinalta and grab the Lady Stone, and then I'm done.
Very nice.
So,
yeah, I like it, but I'm not using it. I even, before I'd done the quest, I put a mod in that changed the look of the Ethereum Crown. Ooh. But when I had it, thought about it, I was just, I don't really want to wear it. For some unknown reason, I just didn't want to wear it. So it's back. It's on a mannequin back at where is it? It's not Severin Manor anymore. I bought the House in Solitude and done that up with a mod and sort of it's got lots of extra sort of display stuff there. So
for your something
fire.
For your playthrough, Colin, you should grab that. There's a new-ish mod that allows you to build a real Telvanni style, mushroom house on the shores of Lake Ilinalta. I mean, not just a house, but includes a little, almost a village below it with various shops and things. You have to you really have to build it, though. You have to gather all the materials and do a small quests for it. But it's really everybody I've seen that's used it loves it.
Is that just like gathering 50,000 mushrooms?
I don't know. I've never used it, but I downloaded it, but I haven't stuck it into a playthrough.
That sounds pretty awesome. I'd be into that.
That's definitely something that because she's very. I mean, if you think Nords are racist,
the worst.
It's like when she comes across Argonians and Khajiit and things like that. I mean, she's got since Gorbash died, she was just picking up any random fodder that she could throw at enemies. She picked up, I've forgotten his name, at the Majors College, the Khajiit at the Majors College.
Oh, right, yeah.
I can't believe I've forgotten his name.
It's escaping me too.
Not Kajo, the other Khajiit, whatever his name.
Desargo.
Jizargo, that's it.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
picked up Jizargo, and he's got some great lines as well. But she's got she's done that thing with the modders with amazing follower tweaks is that dismiss but stay here. So she's got him as her houseboy back at Solitude, just hanging out. She had how was it? The girl, the sword maiden, whatever her name was. She had her with her for a while. But she's boring. She's almost as bad as what's that guy that's the mage in Whiterun? It's like slow and boring. Yeah, she has no inflection in her speech. The way she talks, there's no emotion behind it. It is literally like she's just reading words off a piece of paper.
Yeah, he makes me want to poke my eyes out with a stick. Oh, God, it's awful.
Before we move too far away from the
Sorry.
no, that's fine. Before we move away too far from the Ethereum Forge, just want to remind there's two other things you can forge down there besides the crown. Reminder, the crown lets you have two standing stone abilities simultaneously. You can also forge a shield, the Ethereum Shield, which when you do a shield bash, it will cause the enemies to become ethereal, so they can't hurt you or you cannot hurt them for 15 seconds.
Wow.
I really don't see the point in that very much. Or you can have the staff, and I have actually built the staff in the past and used it a few times before I get too bored with it and then leave it back at home. But the staff allows you to summon or conjure a dwarven automaton spider or sphere for 60 seconds, and that's kind of fun to bust out every once in a while. I've had it in past playthroughs, but this playthrough I went with the crown and immediately went back and put it on a mannequin in my house. I just built
2,000 gold. I mean, I think it's worth it like 2,000 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I should sell that shit.
Yeah.
I got tired of living in Valendril Hall, so I built Winstad Manor because I know that a lot of people think Hearthfire is kind of boring and pointless, but I really I don't know why, but I get enjoyment out of building those houses.
Oh no, I do too. I agree.
Yeah,
I think those people are full of shit. I think Hearthfire is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for only $5, I thought it was a great DLC and good value, good fun for the value.
Yeah.
But so I built Winstad Manor, and it's lonely up there. I adopted one child, I believe it was Lucia, and she is at the house. But if you remember correctly, my Derkeithus spouse would flee Valendril Hall every time I would try to come home. He would just run.
Yeah.
I found him. He was back at Darkwater Crossing, or Darkwater Pass, whatever it's called there, the mine where he was working. And I told him, hey, I'd like to move us somewhere else, because you can do that with your spouse. You can move them to a new house. And I told him, hey, we're moving to Winstad Manor. And he's like, cool, I'll see you there. And I've been back and forth 15 times and still have never seen him anywhere close to the house. So it's just the little girl in the house by herself all the time when I'm out adventuring. There's no one there to watch her. Aren't I supposed to... How do I get a house Carl or someone to be around the house? What do I have to do to get those people to show up? I forget.
Just walk up to the house as your follower.
I thought that they came with the house for some reason. Like when you buy the property.
Isn't the Winstad Gregor? No, that's Heliarchan. Who's
the Morthal lady gives it to you? I thought, right?
Yeah. Are you Thane? You get the house call when you become Thane.
Are you Thane?
There's not much you can do in Morthal, right? Didn't we already do those in our Morthal City quests? What do we have to do?
Well, you had to do kill what's his face, the vampire.
You had to kill Movarth, yeah.
Did you help the 3 people out? You can chop some wood. You can punch.
You can fist fight with that guy. Yeah.
Bernie, I'm sure his name is.
Bernie.
And you can help the alchemist out. She's looking for a book, but you'd have to go to the Bard's College to steal it.
Okay, so if I want to get a house Carl, I'll have to go do those things. Okay, because I could probably get, child services called on me for leaving for 2 weeks at a time and just leaving that poor little girl at the house all alone all the time.
Was it Carlotta, what's her face, with the fruit stall in Whiterun? She died when I was having a fight with a vampire, I think. But the kid, for some reason, hasn't gone to the orphanage. She just wanders around town. She sleeps in the house.
Yeah,
that's her mother's house.
Because she's dead in my current Faldir's playthrough too. No, excuse me, in the other one, and same thing. Because that's happened in other playthroughs I've done where parents die, and the kid does end up in the orphanage. Why doesn't Carlotta's daughter end up there? Yeah.
And she walked up to what's her face, Jonaria, and says, "I hate you. You're a big meanie, and blah blah blah, and I don't like you." And Jonaria turns around and goes, "Well, your mother's dead, so."
Oh, no.
That's on YouTube if you want to watch that. Some great family services entertainment.
Is that on? You uploaded your stuff to Michael's site, right?
I've stopped uploading the ones to my ones. I only do the Roundtable ones to Michael's one. That's the second one, I think, the 51 minutes one. So I can't wait to watch Michael's one. Michael's put one up there. It's like an hour and a half long. Can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have to upload the rest of mine, but I only did the episode 4, so I'm not going to do any more. But
I've been really enjoying those.
Yeah,
I started watching them too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm never satisfied with anything I do, but I have the last 8 through 13 is the last half of the episode 4 ones, but I haven't done any for this episode. I just don't like the quality of the
not up to your standards.
No, I don't have any standards. I just don't like it.
No, I'm really enjoying this. I like the little cubby holes that you get on the Solitude, because I had to look around and those storm grates are actually there in Solitude.
Oh yeah, they're all there. It's just that's a great little mod, Hidden Hideouts of Skyrim. That's awesome mod. I love that.
Did you accidentally discover that one at the edge of the coast when you were going into?
Yes. Yeah, that was totally spontaneous. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, where's he going? What's that? I've never heard of that before. And then you found a little hidey hole right on the edge of the coast.
Yeah, they're peppered all over the place, and just like the Baron Zaya quest, you can actually get you can have the mod show you where they are on the map or not. So I leave it off. So I every once in a while I'll find one. I use the city ones mostly. I don't really use the ones way out in the countryside, but most of them are like way out in the middle of nowhere. You just sort of discover them.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly.
And are they useful little hideouts, I guess?
Well, yeah, every one of them has something in it. The city ones all have one of them has an alchemy table, the other one has an enchanting table. Almost all of them have a cook pot. They all have a bed. The one in Windhelm just has a bed and a cook pot. The one in Markarth, I forget which one. There's the one in Solitude in Markarth. I haven't found one in Falkreath. The one in Whiterun is the only one. Oh, too many W's,
Yeah.
Is the only one that I use regularly, and that one has an enchanting table in it, and they all have a little bit of storage, a barrel or something that's that's usable storage. They're great for early playthroughs,
Yeah.
So
sounds good. Man, I really need to get myself a PC and get on all this modding stuff.
Damn right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of modding, I believe we are about to go into a special segment of the show. So we will go ahead and wrap up this portion of the roundtable for this week, unless you guys have anything else you'd like to discuss about your characters.
No, I don't think so. I haven't done anything. I haven't really been playing. I mean, I've been sort of reserving all my play for just the quests that we're doing. So that's why I'm still just level 30 or whatever. So I haven't done a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I've been cool. I was quite a huge quest things we had for this episode. So yeah, all of my time was determined to that. I have done the Thieves Guild. That was the guild that I had to complete, and I've done that. I've also done the Dark Brotherhood. That was quite enjoyable. I went a bit more in depth with it. So talking to the individual characters and things like that. Like, what's your suggestion on how I should handle my next contract? I never used to do that. I just used to guess the contracts and wander
just
off
grab them
and
and go.
Yeah, but you get a few good ones in there. From Festus is quite funny in it.
Yeah, I never discovered this artifact, but besides a tip-off from the UESB, or maybe it was Juan actually in the Facebook group, but if you talk to the people before you go kill Vittoria Vici at her wedding, there's one assassin in the Dark Brotherhood who will tell you that she has left a bow there for you. That bow's pretty cool. If you guys don't know about that bow, ask around the Dark Brotherhood before you go to the wedding up in Solitude, and ask around about that bow and see if you can pick that up, because that's a pretty fun artifact as well.
Yeah, I had trouble finding it. She says, "Oh, it's just on this ledge," and I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "All right, I'm on the ledge. It's not here. Where is it?"
Yeah, I was on the wrong ledge looking for it. I was on the ledge up above where the ledge she was talking about.
Yeah, same here. And then I was like, "Wait, what's that ledge over there?"
Yeah, it's like, oh wait, there's another little door that I had never noticed before for some reason. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Just one little tidbit before we sign off this evening. I went back and listened to the whole Thuumcast, which is a Skyrim-related podcast. I listened to, I believe there's 38 episodes. I listened to those over the last few weeks at work. And I have to admit that I am a thief. I'm a horrible, dirty thief. Because on the third episode of Thuumcast, and this probably was stored in the back of my brain, and I never noticed it before, and just for some reason it was sitting there, and I decided a clever way to sign off for our podcast here. Actually, I started doing it when I was submitting audio feedback to Michael back in the day. I would always end every show with Happy Skyrimming. But in the third episode of Thuumcast, that mother effer signs off with Happy Skyrimming. So I'm not creative at all. I don't know. I was just so disappointed when I heard him say that. I was like, oh no. I'm a dirty thief, a non-creative dirty thief.
If you find out where he lives and kill him, you can call it looting.
Oh, there you go.
I'm surprised we haven't been slapped with a takedown notice or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that only 40 people or so listen to this show on a regular basis.
How much money do we owe them?
Your mom, my mom.
Hey, my mom downloads on multiple devices, so that counts for double, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Also, one more thing before we sign off here. Evidently, there's a continuation of the Ethereum Forge quest here, Lost to the Ages, that I have never stumbled upon.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Oh, right. I was going to mention that.
That was my fault. Yeah, sorry, I started talking about something else. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Do you know what I was about to talk about there, Colin?
Yeah, as you're traveling around, doesn't matter, it can happen anywhere in Skyrim. If you're wearing or have the piece of the Ethereum on you, whether it's the crown or the staff or whatever, you will run into a mage, a Dunmer, by the name.
Yes, it's right here. It's
Taran Dreth or Taran Dreth.
Taran Dreth.
Yeah.
Real filth bag. He used to be Katria's apprentice or her understudy, and he stole all her work about dwarven history and sort of like our theories on the Ethereum crown, and wrote a book, and then called the Ethereum Wars, I think it was called, and sort of like dedicated it to her, or sort of like put her name in it at the back, saying like thanks for all your help or something like that. But when he sees you, and he sees you in the Ethereum, he goes, "Where did you get that?" And he goes, and you tell him, and he goes, "Oh, it's made of Ethereum." Like he goes, "Oh, where did you hear about this?" Blah blah blah. And he goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I heard it from Katria." He goes, "Oh, I can't let you live." And then he starts to attack you, but he's surrounded by hired mercenaries. So he's a pretty powerful fire mage, and he has 4 mercenaries with him, I think, as well.
Yeah, the last time I killed him there were 4 of them. Yeah.
And they all attack you. The last time he attacked me, he hasn't attacked me in this playthrough, but the previous playthrough, I think it was with my Nord. He attacked me inside the Silver Blood Inn in Markarth.
Ooh.
And yeah, that was the first time it's ever happened inside. The rest of the times has always been on the road somewhere. But,
I have never actually run across this guy.
Really?
Not that I know of. Maybe in a long past playthrough, but as far as I know, I've never actually come across this gentleman. I just found out about it in the when I was doing my research for the show here.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him this time, but I have encountered him in the past for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. Although the very first time it happened, I came up with a speech, or I heard about it from, or I'm a friend of Catria's, whatever the speech was. I was like, okay, who the F is Catria? I had completely forgotten who the hell she was, and I was just like, why am I killing this guy? Who's Catria? What's going on? My very first Catria. I was looking at Lydia, going, no, I haven't got. And then it must have been about 3 months later. I was wandering along and I went, "That's who she was!" Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It was the same thing when I found Draven. When you go through the Thieves Guild and you loot that chest and you find Draven's bow.
I've got his bow. Where do I drop it off?
And I didn't find him until my 3rd playthrough after I killed the dragon, and there was this random guy standing next to me, and I looked at him and I was like, Draven, you bastard!
I've been carrying this bow for months.
I went back into my 2 previous characters, went there, I got them fast travelled all the way to Draven, went, there's your goddamn effing bow! I'm never going to pick that damn thing up again, and then marched all the way back and closed up my fires. I hate that guy. I should let the dragon eat him.
That's funny.
Yeah, I still have his damn bow. I gotta turn that in.
That's like me with that goddamn quill of gemination or whatever it is. I've never, ever, 1,200 freaking hours, I've never found that fucking thing.
Is that the one Maven wants you to get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in there like somewhere. There's a little quest. I was talking to Maven halfway through the Thieves Guild quest, and she was saying she was pretty ticked, and I had the option of telling her that what would make you happy, and she says, the deed to Golden Glow Estate would make me quite happy, and you can get the deed from Gulamai
in Solitude.
So I got the deed to the place, but when I went back to Maven, it wouldn't continue. She wouldn't take it off me. So it was quite weird. I think it was just like But yeah, I was talking to her. I was halfway between the Thieves Guild. I think I'd just done the one in where the skeevers, where you plant the poison.
Oh yeah.
Then I went back to
the brewery one.
Yeah, I went back to Brewery. Yeah.
That's the one. I went back to Riften, and then I was, I think it was in the Jarl's Palace, and I got in the conversation with her, and I had it on there, sort of like, what can I do to make you happy? And she was like, the deed to Golden Glow would be quite nice. And then when I got it, she wouldn't take it. So.
Well, gentlemen, I believe we'll wrap this show up. Probably you'll be hearing this after you're hearing the next segment that we'll be doing, but we'll be going in and discussing a little bit about the new hubbub that has come around for paid mods that are now going to be happening for Skyrim. So we'll launch into that on a different episode, but I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in, and...
Happy
Skyrim. I'm a
Zoomcast.
Okay. Okay, so 7:59, and we'll just go ahead and launch right into.
Just give me a second. I'm just gonna run and grab a drink.
That's fine. Go right ahead.
All right. Oh dear.
Yeah, Michael says he, I believe, has a 90-minute limitation now for some update that GarageBand, an auto update that GarageBand did. So now he can only upload things in like 90-minute chunks or something.
Well, that's better actually. I mean, if we spread these out, we can do them all in one shot and then spread them out over 2 or 3 weeks. That would work.
Yeah,
it'd
be cool.
3 or 4 hours is hard for people to listen to. I mean, I listen to the Bombcast occasionally, and that's 2.5 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a fucking long show.
Well, it's great for. I mean, for you, I think you have a commute like I do, right? It's almost an hour.
I've got an hour-long commute, and I don't mind a long show anyway. Yeah. I'm allowed to listen to podcasts at work, so
nice. Yeah.
I'll just have them on. I'll have my earbuds in when I'm doing my stuff around the lab. So
yeah.
I don't mind a long podcast. I never understand it when fans of a show will write into a show and complain about how long it is.
Yeah, well, everybody's got their own priorities, I guess. I know a lot of people want half-hour shows and that's it. Well, I like the hour segment. That works well for me. But I kind of miss Earwash. That was fun.
Yeah. I've mentioned it to Blake a couple times about how we need to kick it back up again, but
he's talking about doing a modding podcast now too. So
yeah, he mentioned that a while back. So hopefully we'll get him involved again.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, let's see. We'll go ahead and roll into this. Sorry, my wife keeps texting me.
Uh-oh.
She needs me to watch the baby so she can go somewhere. So, but we'll get into this for a little bit, maybe 10 minutes or so. We'll discuss it a little bit.
Okay.
See what opinions you guys have on it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say a few things.
Sorry about that.
Okay, you're fine.
No worries.
All right, let's just go ahead and roll into it then. So it'll be 8:02. And Colin, we'll try to just talk for like 10 minutes or something here if you don't mind, if that's cool.
No worries.
Oh, we could talk for a lot longer than that if we wanted to, I guess.
Hey, if you guys want to, that's fine.
That's no, we'll try to keep it short.
I will have to take off, and you guys can just keep going, and I can kill the broadcast.
Yeah, no, we'll try to keep it short here.
Okay. Welcome everyone to a special segment of the Skyrim Addict Podcast Roundtable. This doesn't really have anything to do with the roundtable, but there was some new news that popped out about some paid mods and all the fallout of everyone that is complaining about this or celebrating. I'm not even sure. I tried to read a few things on it, but we here at the Roundtable just thought we'd express our thoughts on this. And since I'm not a modder, I will just kind of probably be here without much to say, but I did watch a video and try to read a couple articles on what's going on here. But Victor and Colin, I'm sure, will have some more in-depth opinions on what is going to happen here, what is happening, and what direction all this should take. So, gentlemen, let's get into this a little bit. What do you think about paid mods? Or where did this start, actually? What happened? What's the background story with all this?
Colin, you want to take it, or do you want me to do it? Or
No, go for it.
Well, I mean, the background turns out that, first of all, it's been brewing for a long time. There was an article posted by the owner of the Skyrim Nexus several weeks ago, sort of hinting that this was coming. And he has his own opinions, obviously. First of all, this is a very touchy issue, and a lot of people feel very strongly about it. I think that we don't need to get political about it, but I would like to just point out one thing, where this came from. here's where it came from. I was reading through a quick article on GameSpot, and they quoted Bethesda. Bethesda's little, smarmy little piece about this says, modding has been important to all our games for such a long time. We try to create worlds that come alive, and you can make your own, but it's in modding where it truly does. Thanks again for all your incredible support over the years. We hope steps like this breathe new life into Skyrim for everyone. Okay, here's the thing. The Skyrim Nexus is the home for a lot of mods. It is really the crux of modding in where most people who like to mod go. It's Steam aside. Steam is a separate issue. But if you look at the Nexus, there are 173 games that have mods on the Nexus. The top 5 of those are Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout, New Vegas, Fallout 3, and Morrowind. Do you see a theme here? All right? And starting with Morrowind, which is the 5th of there's 3,338 files on the Nexus. Fallout 3, 13,700 files.
Good Lord.
Fallout New Vegas, 15,200 files. Oblivion, 27,600 files. Skyrim, 40,476 mods, 667.1 million downloads. Okay, now you understand why Steam looks at the Nexus and says, I want a piece of that action. And Bethesda looks at Nexus and says, we want a piece of that action. That's where this comes from. And that's the bottom line. I mean, it's money. And so when Steam decided to do this, I can't blame them for it. I have contributed to modders on the Nexus. I have no problem paying people for good work. None whatsoever. I think, however, that Steam has just sent a giant monkey wrench into the works. They've done it in a really ham-handed way, and that's the unfortunate part. Today I downloaded a paid mod by a guy who's done a lot of modding, who has a lot of mods on the Nexus. He or she, I'm not sure which, does one called Pure Weather, Pure Waters. And there's a new paid mod on the Nexus, which I think he or she created specifically for this, called Purity. It's sort of a visual overhaul. It looks great, works well, and I have no problem contributing to this person's livelihood. But if anybody wants to know why they did this, well, there you go. That's why. Anyway, that's my piece.
And how much profits are the actual modders getting from this procedure?
Well, yeah, that's another issue. Colin?
25%, I believe they said.
That is a total ripoff, I think, at least.
Yeah, that's 75% goes to Valve and Bethesda, however they divvy it up.
Yeah, nobody knows quite how they divvy it. There's been a lot of speculation about that, but I think anybody really knows.
But was it my... You see, with my game, I will start up and I will get all my base mods, which will be immersive armors, immersive creatures now, definitely is a permanent fixture on mine, which are both pretty huge mods. They're really big. I think immersive armors adds like 1,500 different types of armors and things like that. That's worth paying for. That's the same price that has as much content as Hearthfire does, so it's well worth paying the money for that. Immersive creatures, definitely the same. Interesting NPCs, absolutely huge mod. Definitely worth paying money for. It adds so many hours to your gameplay, and has so much. Not all of it is worthwhile content, but then again, half of us don't think the Bars College is always worthwhile.
That's true. Yeah.
Some of it's not worthwhile, but it is so big, and 90% of it is great, so it is definitely worth the money. But when I start off my game, I will install my 20 to 30 mods. I don't think it's more than that. I think it could go as high as 50, but not on this playthrough. It's pretty small. And I will install them, and then I will start the game. And then after I've started, I might install 3 mods after that. And that will be for my entire playthrough. So I'm pretty calm on the modding front. Now, a lot of people have fun modding,
Yeah,
like
that's me.
Victor does. He enjoys the act of going in there, installing a new one, finding out all the nuances of that mod and adding it in. If it doesn't work quite well, he'll sort of like, tweak it so it works with this other mod. And he has tons of fun, just as much fun doing that as he does playing the game of Skyrim.
Possibly more.
Yeah. So I add my mods at the start of the game to enhance the game on top of what it already is. I can quite happily play my game on my Xbox and play all the way through and have just as much enjoyment. Anything else that I have from modding on my PC version is gravy. It's stuff that I put on top that make it keeps it interesting so I continue playing the game. So this doesn't actually affect me any in the slightest. I would say that if some of these quest mods came out and they were as big as some of the quest mods that I've downloaded and as good as the quest mods I've loaded, they're definitely worth the money. But the only reason why it has come out that you should pay for mods is because Bethesda and Valve want money.
Yeah.
They were seeing how much, because Skyrim has lasted much longer than anybody ever thought it would. It shouldn't be this popular still and this high up in the rankings, and the only reason why it is that high is because of the modding community.
Yeah, I mean that's the point of that first quote from Bethesda. We hope steps like this breathe new life. But pardon me, but I call bullshit on that. The Skyrim modding community is incredibly vibrant, and there's no new life needs to be breathed into it. It has been, I mean, just this year alone, some huge mods have come out. So. It is kind of an attempt at a money grab, and I guess in some ways I can't blame Bethesda for wanting to get in on that. I mean, perhaps they never thought that Skyrim would have the legs that it has, but boy, I mean, I guess to a certain extent, selfishly, I feel kind of threatened by it because it drives a wedge into the community, and the community has been really. It's a really good volunteer community. It can be fractious at times, but in general, it's been there's a lot of people just working together to produce good stuff, and this, as always, when you throw money into it, it just makes things more difficult. There's we don't want to go on and on, but
that's the one worry is that. Like I was talking about with resources, because other mods can only be built by using the resources of other mods. So you'll get somebody who will release a mod that they're going to get paid money for it because it has this one sword that does this special move, but it only works because SKSE or Finis has created this program so the sword can move or the NPC can twist around in that particular way and how that sword moves. So he's getting paid money for it, but the guy who wrote and created Finis is not getting money for it. So that's where you're going to get the problem.
Yeah, for a while there was. I noticed it now. It's been I don't know if it's been taken down or it's just gone off the front page of Nexus. One of the mod authors who's actually done a lot of mods. I can't remember all the ones. But he uploaded a menu. It's a main menu add-on that said something nasty about this whole thing, and gave everybody permission to upload it to Steam and charge money for it. Which is like, that's how rancorous this whole thing is. So.
So are there still free mods out there, or is this what the whole hubbub is? That
no. There's
mods
no,
are not. Okay.
Honestly, there's only 17 paid mods that are charging money right now.
These are pre-existing mods that have maybe been updated for this sale, but they used to be free before.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
And you said that you do not mind paying modders, so that means like there was already a system set up where that you could donate money to their cause before all of this happened anyway,
Sure,
right?
yeah. Nexus has always had donations available. Now I mean, the owner of Nexus is going to make that a little more prominent, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
you've always been able to donate to the mod authors.
And is there now a way to avoid like the paid mods and just go in through the Nexus and donate the amount of money to the modder that would have otherwise gone to Bethesda at this point now? You see what I'm saying? Like donate the value of this to the actual modder so that Bethesda doesn't get their 75% skim off the top?
I guess it depends on whether the modder puts that mod on the Nexus or not, because there's there's that whole issue of potentially exclusive content, which is what's happened with a couple of mods already. Notably Wet and Cold and I Need. See, there was about a month ago. This, from what I've pieced together, and I think Colin and I were talking about this earlier. About a month ago, Valve sent some emails out to various modders that they knew were active and good modders, and said, "Hey, we're doing this. We'd love to have you participate. Here's how it works." And so when they launched it a couple of days ago, they had several mods that were ready-made for this, and then this firestorm happened, and there's more to this. I don't know if you want to get into this with this one modder whose name is Chesko, who is actually the author of Frostfall, which is one of the best immersion mods out there. He's a really good, but he ran into a huge problem, and it's mostly from what I gather. I don't know if you agree, Colin, but it sounds like it's mostly Valve's fault. That this happened to him. So,
can you briefly summarize what happened there?
You want me to do it, or?
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Okay. What's that?
I didn't read the entire thing of what he brought out.
Yeah, I don't want to go and read it out loud, but he posted a long explanation to Reddit a while back. Basically, it says, yeah, okay, they came to me. I said, that sounds great. I don't. The subtext is he didn't want to load up all his mods like that and take them off the Nexus, but he created this one mod with a collaborator. They produced it specifically for Steam and for the paid mod section of Steam, and it used some assets from another mod. This is not uncommon. Mods use assets from other modders consistently. Well, it blew up in his face, basically, is what happened, and he pulled it off. He pulled it down off of Steam and said, "Screw that! I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with the hate I'm getting. I'm done." It's kind of sad. It really is, because that shouldn't happen either. He's a great mod author, and he shouldn't be, subjected to that kind of crap.
Yeah, what he's done is he's brought before that one incident, one thing, which isn't that particularly bad, because people are just saying like, oh well, you should pay whatever you should get from that and give half of it to this guy who created the original mod, blah blah blah. But before that, he's released fantastic mods, and the only reason why he done it is because he wanted to do it.
Yep.
And he wanted people to all he wanted to do was people to give him the thumbs up, give him the endorsement, say, "We love your mod, thank you very much." And he's done that like countless times before, and one of the most well-respected mods on the Nexus is his. And then he gets all this crap just from probably, as I was suggesting, was probably about 13 to 14-year-olds just who like throwing crap at everybody all over the internet. So
yeah.
He doesn't deserve that. But I think Bethesda and Steam have just left him out there to dry. Sort of like, oh, here, can you do this? And now it's like, they're catching all the flack, and it's not going towards Steam and Bethesda. So.
Yeah, I mean, he says in his Reddit post, just briefly, I knew this would cause backlash, trust me, but I also knew that with the right support and infrastructure in place, there was an opportunity to take modding to, quote, the next level, unquote, where there are more things like FileScar, which is another huge DLC-sized mod in the world because the incentive was there to do it. And, you know, that's perfectly reasonable.
Hey, Victor, can you, just for our listeners, maybe direct them towards that article, tell them where they can find it in case they want to read it themselves?
Oh God, you can, yeah. The best thing we could do is just, if at some point, is to put links to these in on this
on the show notes or something.
On the show notes or at the bottom of the YouTube. You know,
okay.
I mean, yeah. If anybody listens to this, they could be pissed off at us. I don't know, but you know, lots of people have weighed in on this, and I think it's pretty nuanced, even though it looks on the face to be pretty black and white.
Yeah.
So.
Well, any other things to wrap up here? What are some of the major complaints people are giving, or is it that's maybe not even worth getting into? You know, you don't want to stoke the fire of mad 13-year-olds on the internet.
Or even mad 38-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not mad that modders want to get paid.
Oh, they should get paid, right?
But
yes. I don't know about should, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
If they're going to try and get paid, then yeah, you want to pay them. You don't really want to
give 75% to the mother company
just because, like, you know, they own a name or something.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I'm not angry that paid mods have come out. I mean, I've never used Steam before, and you know, not on the, as I said in, was it a post I put on Facebook, is unless the guy like Hoth Trooper 44, if he brings out a new immersive armors mod that has another 1,500 armors included in it, then yes, I'll probably go to Steam and download that and pay for that. Only those really big, huge mods. Going in there and paying like, you know, $3 to add a set of 2 swords, you know, with a special name on it that has, like, you know, a special class enchantment or something. I'm not going to do that. It's kind of like those are the kind of like mini ones you're going to get on ESO now that it's gone free to play. Right. You know, buying a special hat, you know, buying a Cinch Tiger mount, anything like that. I didn't buy mine. I got mine for free.
Yeah. It's horse armor, like from the old days. Yeah.
So that's what they all. I mean, I don't think that the modders should have gotten all the backlash that they should have gotten, but I think if Steam had handled it better, I think it would have been a lot easier. I think it's down to just it's change. People don't like change.
Yeah. Well, they don't. I'm a little. You know, for me, I curate a lot of mods. I curate a lot of profiles, and I use, you know, Mod Organizer to curate. And you know, I don't mind. It's just there's so many loopholes in this. There's so many possibilities. There's, you know, as people point out, you know, there's so many possibilities for piracy, and that's what's going to happen. People are going to pirate mods from one place and load them up onto Steam. How is Steam going to curate that? You know, Steam has a 24-hour, you know, money back thing. Okay, well, what's to stop me from going to Steam, buying the mod, syncing it to my computer, which you do through the Steam Workshop, then unsubscribing. Now it's on my computer. I can keep it, and then saying I don't like it and get my money back. What's to stop me from doing that? It's ridiculous.
I saw someone comment that they would just copy the files into a new folder or
exactly.
something.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's basically amounts to the same thing, and that's not fair to the modder. I don't really care about Valve. I mean, Valve makes billions of dollars or whatever. Bethesda is a huge company. I care about, you know, these modders are going to get nothing out of it, and that's not fair to them. So. So
final verdict from you, gentlemen?
There is no final verdict yet.
Yeah.
I think it could.
Ongoing discussion. We will visit this again later.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colin. I cut you off there. What were you about to say?
No. I just think that it was started very, very badly.
Yeah.
Implemented. Sorry, that's a bad word. Is implemented badly, I think.
Yeah. Well,
don't
they'll know
think it's
better
better.
for next time that they try to do something overhauling stupid like this.
What do they want?
No. They never learn, do they?
No. No.
Okay, well, did you get your thoughts out on this subject, do you believe, gentlemen?
As much as possible, yeah. And you know, there's so much to it that we could talk for a long time.
Well,
and
we
wouldn't
can
solve anything.
Yeah, we can definitely revisit this in the future, but this is Michael just wanted to have a little conversation about what is going on, the current topics and fields, what are going on in the world of Skyrim right now. Also, the ESO betas came out for consoles, or supposedly were supposed to come out this past weekend, so if anyone out there would like to send us some audio feedback on how they feel about mods or the new ESO for consoles, go ahead and contact us at skyrimroundtable@gmail.com and let us know your thoughts. Sorry, Victor, you're about to say something there too?
No, I was going to say hopefully in 3 weeks when we do our next roundtable, there'll be more, just maybe some things will be resolved by then with all this modding situation. So.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll check back in with it then. Is that a good place to leave it, guys?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. It was a pleasure to podcast again with you, Colin and Victor. Hope you guys have a good few weeks, and we'll see you on the roundtable next time.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.